Everybody, it is Thursday night and we are live here on YouTube. Tonight we are talking what could be one of the most important films of 1985. We are talking the Coen Brothers' Blood Simple. Let's pop in the tape. Welcome, everyone. Like I said, we are live tonight. Schedules permitted, we are able to do this episode live. I'm looking forward to being back with everybody in the comments. Jay Ryan, how are you doing?
Hi, Brandon. Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, life is speeding up. Yeah, it just feels like life has been speeding up lately. I don't need to tell you about it. Gosh, Brandon, yes. I should ask you. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Speaking of the snowball effect.
Yeah, I'm a little bit overwhelmed over here. This past month has been a little bit crazy. People have been finding the BC DeLorean Instagram account, and 2 weeks ago I was celebrating 20,000 followers, and today I hit 40,000, which is just unbelievable. In my 20,000 followers video, I said that my goal was 10,000 followers, and now
I remember that.
4 times that, which is unbelievable. So if there's anybody here who's watching this from the new 20,000 that have come in the last 2 weeks, or the 20,000 that came the 2 weeks before that, welcome to a Blockbuster year. We're happy you're here. We do this show every Thursday. Sometimes it's live. Sometimes the episodes drop. That is all based on schedule. But I am so happy that people are finding the BC DeLorean page because I love doing it. So I'm glad people are enjoying it.
I'd also like to, before you talk about our lovely guest here, I'd also like to recognize the amount of effort that you put into it, Brandon. I mean, this is not just a passion. You put a tremendous amount of time and effort into this. I feel like the Instagram stuff is just catching up.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, let's. This show is not about BC DeLorean. It's a part of it, but
I know he doesn't take praise well, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
so you really have to stuff it, cram it down his throat.
I just am a nerd who likes movies, and I like movie cars, and I like props, and if making videos and people finding them and liking them,
that's it.
I'm so happy that people are
taking the time. You're taking the time and the effort to do document it and to share it with everybody, and then they get to experience it, and that is a gift, and that's why everyone's following. It's really fun. It's awesome. Wow. Thank you.
I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm not quitting yet. We have a very special guest with us tonight. Dylan Coulter is one. We were joking about this before we went live. How do you say it? He's one of my longest, oldest friends. We have known each other for probably, I was trying to think, 15 years. You and I have known each other around 2011, 2012 is kind of when we came into each other's worlds.
Yeah, I think that we were in the same university theater department, possibly even as early as 2010, but I can't remember when you arrived. We just kind of were passing in different orbits, and then eventually we kind of aligned and started talking movies.
I have a very distinctive memory, and it's a story that I love. My wife, our mutual friend, Renee, I love it when she tells the story because when I came to the university theater program, I auditioned for one of the main stage shows. And Renee was already cast as the lead in the show. And there was a couple other people that were auditioning for the same role. Dwight was the character's name in a play called Dead Man's Cell Phone. And you were one of the people auditioning. And that was when I believe that was kind of when I first met you. But Renee always tells the story about how she knew all the other people auditioning except for me. And I came into the audition and did the character so weird that she left the audition being like, oh man, I hope that guy doesn't get it. And she wanted you, Dylan, to get the part because she was friends with you already. But she's like, that weirdo Brandon, I don't know who he is. I've never met him. He was so weird in the audition. I hope he doesn't get it. And then I did get the part. We fell in love and we got married a few years later. So that's how Renee and I met, was through that play. And yeah, you were up for the same part, Dylan.
Sorry, you said that we fell in love, and I was going to say yes, we did.
Oh yes, Dylan and I fell in love as well.
That's okay.
I read it the same way.
It was interesting because I remember very little about that audition except that I didn't feel like I totally got the character. So I think that you having a weird take of it makes a lot of sense because we all probably went in and did something conventional and felt comfortable because it was our second year in theater school. We could just be ourselves, but good for you for getting that role because I loved seeing you on stage in that play. And I also met in a play at that same university where we were on stage together and then got married. And anyways, it's kind of funny.
Wow. What the frick? Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was funny. Anyway,
Shout out to that school, that matchmaking Cupid school of yours, whatever that was.
University of the Fraser Valley.
Yeah.
Bravo.
I don't know that was always their reputation.
Yeah. Well, and we met lots of people through that university program. A lot of us have all still maintained friendships. We're still connected. Dylan is one of my favorite movie friends because Dylan loves movies to such a degree that every single time Dylan and I are together, we find a little corner, whatever party we're at. You know, we were just at our mutual friend's Brian's birthday. And what do? We go find a little corner and Dylan and I are just talking about movies so deeply, so intensely that nobody else can really join the conversation.
No, we're very good at keeping an eye out and not quite getting in trouble. We'll kind of go, I have to go. I'm going to see you in a few minutes. And then we'll duck away again. But yes,
well, Dylan has children. So Dylan sometimes has to leave our conversations to be responsible. Yes.
That's true. But I still remember at your wedding when I had like 2 minutes with you and I had to talk to you about how I bought a copy of The Thing and it turned out to be the remake of The Thing and I was annoyed. And that was, anyway, movies will always
good luck on your wedding. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So Dylan is a theater director. He is a writer. He is an actor. But one of the things he does is he actually teaches film and photography at school. He is a school teacher. So I love talking to Dylan as well because his perspective on things a lot of the time is like, oh yeah, I get to share this with my students, or my students are getting this out of modern cinema and they're coming to me with the things that they're loving. So he has a really unique perspective on what the kids are into these days.
Well, it is funny because it really is a muggle job. Like I do theater outside of my job. I sometimes do film outside of my job, but I don't ever do it for my job now. I am a true muggle just going through the school system. But it's a little bit like most of my students are sitting there going, do I really like film? But for the 5 of them a year who are really into film, then I'm like, oh yeah, now we're really plugged in and we're not going to get anything done. Now we're just talking about the Odyssey and the hour's gone. Okay, bye. See you tomorrow. So it's very interesting because my world sometimes is very much like, okay, how am I supposed to assess that you know how to turn on a camera? And then some of it is very much just like, look at this thing you made. Isn't this awesome? So very cool job, but it's very much a light version of teaching film because I'm in the high school system and not in any kind of professional setting. But still.
I salute anyone that chooses to be an educator. I think that's often a thankless job, and it's one of the most important jobs in the world.
I also think knowing Dylan very well, he is a very passionate talker. And so I can imagine the way he's talking about the Odyssey with the kids who went out to go and see the Odyssey and coming back. Well, I mean, I guess it's summer, but
I'm excited to talk to them about it.
Exactly. When school starts up again, they'll all be talking about the Odyssey. And that's one of the things that I think is kind of cool about people like Dylan is that they are so positive and passionate about something like film that they're just like excited to talk to these kids and try to instill that fire inside the next generation. And
Well,
you're right. It may only be 5 people out of your whole, the whole grade. 5 kids might just find that passion for film, and it will carry them for the rest of their lives.
I mean, I don't think of myself as being someone who intended to become like a quote unquote expert. Like, I'm a hack film teacher. I didn't go to film school, but I did a lot of film in high school. And then I stuck around with my friends who were doing it in university. And so I got to see a lot of that stuff from the outside, but I didn't really see myself as I still don't see myself as an expert, but I see these students walk away and go, I can't really watch films the same way anymore, Mr. Coulter. I'm like, yeah, that happens.
You've changed their perspective. Yeah,
it does happen, right? You start to look at the shots and you start to see things differently. Sorry.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I just, you guys, I was a terrible student, and every student that I did align with who made a connection with me was exactly like you. There was some kind of passion behind it. They wanted to be there. They weren't just regurgitating information, that somebody else wrote. So again, salute you again, because not only are you in a profession that I salute, but you seem to be one of the good ones. So awesome.
I appreciate that. I do hope so for my students. Anyway,
if you can make a connection, man, you've changed somebody's life, and I'm one of those kids.
Well, it's a good reminder, like I could walk in and we could watch Teletubbies all semester, and I'd be like, we're really going to focus on the shots here. And the connection that I make with it is going to be more
coverage
important.
of the meadow.
It's going to be more important than what I put on the
baby
screen,
son.
right?
Yeah.
And so,
see, the actors are on the island, but the camera's on the mainland. You see how that works?
the real twist would be that we would do Teletubbies, and then I'd go, now we're doing 28 years later, and then they would go, oh, now I see what you were doing. But
it all connects. Yeah, Danny Boyle.
I don't like either of those things, but I'd watch that. I'd watch that crossover.
One of the other things that I'm sure we'll get to it later, but the other reason that I thought Dylan actually picked this movie, which is kind of cool, because I realized later, I think this has come up in conversations between you and I, Jay. I don't think it's come up on the show, but I also used to be really into making film. And movies. I don't do it so much anymore. Not that to say that I don't have a passion for it. I absolutely love it. I have been so fortunate the last year to help out on a couple of other friends' projects. Past and future guest, Ben Christensen, aka Danger Bean from our
he's awesome.
To Live and Die in LA episode. I got to help out on a couple of his short films. But years ago, way back in 2017, Dylan and I were the 2 leads in an independent film called Videotronyxz. This is a film made by a bunch of young kids in 2015. Here, I'll make myself big.
That's fantastic.
This is a custom VHS copy I made of this.
God, that's fantastic.
And
it's a comedy and a drama, folks.
It is. Yes. I played a character named Jaslow. Dylan played a character named Elron. And it is all about a character finding his passion for synth pop music and stopping at absolutely nothing to become the electric maniac, the most famous musician in the world.
This is not what the movie is about. The movie is about Barry Lyndon set in synth pop music. It's about the most horrible person who's destroying the relationships around him to get what he wants, and then he's left alone and lonely at the end of the film. There is definitely a Barry Lyndon reference in there that I didn't get at the time, and now I see, and I'm like, oh yes, in some ways it's a very Kubrick journey, because it's playing with dream logic, but not like the Lynch dream logic that makes sense in your heart. It's the dream logic where you just go, what am I seeing here? What's going on? It's very cool to it's very fun to bring it up, Brandon, because I only in the last few months I messaged you and I said, where is it? Can I watch it? It's been a long time. I want to watch it again. And I was able to watch it over again, and it was really interesting to see that film. There's some parts of it, especially, I think I said to you, I'm like, I think there's a really good 90-minute movie in there. It's just, there's an extra hour.
It's a long movie. It's 114 minutes long, but I'm very, very proud of it.
Well, it's a feature film that we made over how many months was it?
9 months, I think we
for
shot.
no money,
Oh.
nothing.
Yeah, for nothing.
Nothing.
And it actually ties into this movie tonight as well, because
Yes.
we asked, begged, and borrowed everything to make this movie. We got small investments from people. We had larger investments from people like my own father, similarly to tonight's film, Blood Simple. And we'll talk a little bit about it a little bit later. Dylan is so good in this movie.
There's a theme. There's a theme this week. This is cool.
It's weird. I initially didn't think about it when Dylan picked Blood Simple, but then it just occurred to me like a few days ago. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe Dylan picked this movie because of all the connections to us making a feature-length film to try and be the Coen Brothers and get the next film made and get it. Now, we did not have quite the success story that the Coen Brothers have, but that being said, I'm very, very proud of this movie.
Spoilers. Yes. No, I am also very proud of creating a film in this way. It was a really interesting experience to see it again and to be reminded that we pulled out all the stops to make this movie, and yet we shot it mostly chronologically. Like I remember going back and watching it, and the very first shot of the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, I am pretty good in this. But then the next shot, but that was like the last thing we filmed, and then the next shot is the first thing we filmed, and I was like, oh no, I'm not very good in this at all.
and it was basically improvised. There was a script, but for the most part, all of the scenes were really loose. It was just, what is the goal of the scene? What do we have to say? What do we have to achieve? And it is essentially all improvised.
Oh man.
Going back to what you were saying before, I'm having my own little deja vu, because on Tuesday we had Eric Stolhansky from Super Troopers on Late Night Playset, which was super cool in its own right.
Wow.
Thank you. Super Troopers 3 in theaters tomorrow. I was supposed to say that. But that wasn't obligated on this show. So thanks for that, Brandon. But my point is, those guys all met in college, and they started doing their little troupe together all independently. And then I didn't realize that they self-funded Super Troopers, the first one.
That's crazy.
Did you guys know that?
Yes.
No.
He said they put it on their credit cards so that they could shoot 35 because they knew it would be more sellable. They didn't want to, upscale. And 35 millimeter for the film nerds out there.
Yeah,
that has a connection to tonight as well. Actually, that's interesting. That fun fact.
Yeah.
Well, I don't need to keep talking about them, but to me, it's like a whirlwind, because it's the same story of, they all met in college and they filmed this group, and then they self-funded this project, and then it took off.
Yeah. Well,
it is funny, right? Because we remember, just a quick tangent, we remember the Kevin Smiths, we remember the Broken Lizards, we remember the people who self-fund a movie, and it turns out they were geniuses. Not that we aren't brilliant in our own way, but there are a lot of movies that people make out of passion, and I think there's a lot of worthwhile movies. They just might not find an audience the way that Blood Simple or something else does, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Before we get too carried away, let's say hi to the chat, the people that are here. Gannon Appleby, thank you for being here. Shout out to Gannon Appleby. They are sending me a Transylvania 65000 poster that I will proudly display in the Blockbuster. Really looking forward to that. Skylar Davis is here. Thank you for being here. I love seeing YHS people crossed over on this show.
Yeah, me too.
Steve 3D is here, past and future guest. Kip Marshall, past and future guest. Who else do we have here? Jeff.
Kip Marshall's got he had a new picture there.
Picture?
Yeah, doesn't he? He looks like he looks like a YouTube influencer or something.
Yeah. Who is Jeff Sidner 5427? Thank you for being here.
I need my glasses, but that looks like the Swedish Chef.
A little bit. I love Blood Simple. Also, Brandon, that shirt you're wearing looks cool from what I see. It's David Lynch, baby. It's all the David Lynch tapes.
Nice.
Although
I recognize it from a video I saw on Instagram.
There's no straight story tape on this shirt. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We really appreciate it. Now, before we get into Blood Simple, I just want to close this loop on Videotronyxz. Just because I did pull a couple of screens.
Oh, that is awesome.
Oh boy.
So there was our poster drawn by
piano, right?
Yes,
piano keys.
Yes. drawn by our friend Spencer Weeb,
Beautiful.
an amazing artist. But I just wanted to share a couple of these screenshots. There's Dylan.
Yeah.
I think you're cooking eggs in your
That's
underwear.
you. Wow.
Yeah.
It's me.
I would not have
No,
known.
you know what it was? It might have been eggs. No, it was spaghetti. It was spaghetti.
Spaghetti. That's
And
right.
do you
And I think
remember-
you're in your underwear.
But do you
drinking
remember?
beer.
Okay. Do you remember you had to eat it? You had to eat
Yes.
it, and I kept adding the weirdest stuff into it.
Oh, what a dick.
Take. It was
Yeah.
so
Oh,
good.
God.
But I was supposed to be drunk, so I was just having a ball. Like I was
Yeah.
just giggling at you, and it was in character. So it was great.
Yeah. And this is my old basement suite kitchen where Renee and I used to live. We had one cabinet in that basement suite. The cabinet that you see behind Dylan, that is the one cabinet we had in the kitchen.
Wow.
I pulled this one too. There's
yes.
there's Dylan and I standing in my backyard.
I forgot that's a good low angle. I forgot I snuck the Che Guevara shirt in there. That's hilarious.
And then we're standing in the backyard because
Oh,
Elron is giving my character Justin or Jaslow a motorcycle that we bought that never ran. And so when you see it in the movie, or I will let people know, I did put the trailer for Videotronyxz, a link to the trailer in the description below so you can check it out. And I believe there is a shot in the trailer of me riding this little motorcycle, but it never ran. So we took it to the top of a hill and I rode it down this hill and we filmed it to make it look like it was running.
What? Is this on YouTube? We can watch
I
it.
didn't know that.
The link you're going to put up.
The link is already in the description below. The trailer, the video, the full.
Oh,
film
it's the trailer. Okay, gotcha.
Yes,
gotcha.
the full film is not publicly available,
Okay.
and that was all just because
I got all excited. I was like, "Can I watch it tonight?"
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of figuring out what I'm going to do. It has been 8 years since we made this movie. And I at first was trying to, obviously sell the movie, get distribution. We went to a couple film festivals and all that stuff, but it never amounted to anything. And so I've always just sort of sat on it, hoping that one day I could do something with it.
In the business, we call that shelved. It's shelved for a little bit, but you just had a massive surge in awareness and popularity. It might be time to bring it off the shelf.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, he's laughing. He's like, yeah,
on those 40,000 people's throats, right yet. Let them get hooked on my content.
I don't mean this second. I just mean revisit it in the future.
I have
be
been
willing to
thinking about
revisit it.
Yeah, I have been thinking about it. And then here's the last screenshot here. This is not a screenshot of Dylan or I.
Oh my God.
But this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's a little bit hard to see, but those two gentlemen, our friends Curtis and Justin, they are splattered in blood. So there's a big blood effect in the movie, which I had to build a whole blood cannon just for this one shot.
This looks like Club Dread or one of those fucking gory movies. Like
Can I say?
I see it. The action drama, comedy drama.
Yeah,
Can I
these
say
two
that
guys
the-
are beating me up. You can see me kind of in the bottom there. They're holding me down.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's
That is
you.
Yeah, that's me. They're beating me up. They chased me in the forest. They're beating me up.
That's so funny. What'd you do?
Brandon, I know you were in the film. You weren't directing this film, but
No.
I can't remember if you were involved in the writing process such that it was, because we had a script and then the director just kept telling us, don't read the script.
Yeah.
And so we kind of read it and put it in a drawer. But I think it's a very opposite film in many ways in some of the structural components to the film we're going to cover tonight, which has maybe like 4 or 5 characters.
Yeah.
And everyone you know is in this movie. Every single person you were friends with at that time is in this movie.
You are correct.
A big, ambitious cast, which created
Yeah.
a lot of really wonderful moments in a big world. But I do really like the challenge to make a film that's a little bit of like a tight, 4 or 5 person play in a film kind of thing, right?
Well, and like you're saying, Blood Simple has 4 main characters and then a couple of side characters, and that just it's kind of the smart decision because scheduling was really difficult on our film, and asking people to do things for free and taking up their entire day or weekend, or in the Dylan's case, almost 9 months of a year. This was before you had kids, by the way. So
it was, but I also think that I had a lot of scenes at parts of the film, but I was definitely like, the film is a big sprawling epic, so I come and go. I wasn't always in the scenes.
Yeah. Well, people of the Blockbuster year world and the BC DeLorean world, look forward to something happening with this movie, because I want to do something with it. It's been sitting on the shelf for too long. I'm very proud of it. I imagine, Dylan, you're proud of it. And I'd love for people to actually get to see it. Okay, let's talk about tonight's actual film, Blood Simple. Now, in my intro, I said that it is probably one of the more important films of 1985, and the reason I say that is because of what we've been talking about tonight. This is the tale of two young brothers who thought, man, I could make a movie. They have such a passion for film. They thought, we could do that. We could get some money together. We could make our own film. We could finance our own film and not be beholden to any sort of studio, or in reality, no studios were asking them to make movies at this point. They have a really, really cool backstory, a connection with another really famous independently financed horror film. It's the first film of the Coen Brothers, who go on to make some of the most entertaining films of the modern era. I mean, not only do they make like films of all sorts of genres, but they go on to win Academy Awards for films like Fargo and like Best Picture, No Country for Old Men, Best Director. They're still making films to this day. They are just honestly like some of my favorite filmmakers. I really enjoy what they do, whether or not I think everything is for me or not for me. I really enjoy everything they do.
That's fair. Very fair.
Yeah.
I'll say too, you throw Barry Sonnenfeld in there too, and you get a future director and a future.
We'll definitely talk about him.
Like, there's a whole package that comes along with it.
The connections that come off this film are there's a lot that are going to have to be touched on, but I'm curious as to your both of your level of exposure to the other Coen Brothers films, because I realized this week I was only short a couple, so I was trying to watch them all, but I think I've just missed the Hudsucker Proxy. That's the only Coen Brothers film.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
that's high on my list actually.
I was looking at it. I've missed 4. And there is a chunk in the middle I've never seen, and that is The Man Who Wasn't There. What's that? The Man Who Wasn't There, Lady Killers, and there's one more in the middle. Intolerable Cruelty.
Okay, so this week I just watched Intolerable Cruelty. Actually, I just watched that yesterday. Yeah, and then I watched
Clooney and Catherine Zeta-Jones, right?
Yes, and then I watched A Serious Man and Inside Llewyn Davis. Those were the last ones that I hadn't seen, other than
John Goodman is the jazz saxophone. Right.
Yeah. Here's my
not John Goodman.
Isn't that John Goodman?
Oscar
Isaac. Oh, you're right. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Is John Goodman in it, or did I just make that up completely?
He's the jazz musician who.
That's what I mean with the saxophone, right?
Yes, he picks him up on the way to a gig.
I forgot that he was. And then played an instrument.
Yes, yeah. He's a jazz man, and he complains in the back seat. I love Inside Llewyn Davis. So yeah.
I love John Goodman, obviously.
And then the only other one I haven't seen is
I've never seen Lady Killers. That's crazy.
Yeah, me neither. The Netflix one, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I haven't seen that one.
Okay, so
never even heard of it.
Are we allowed to promote? Wait, well, maybe I shouldn't. I know that you can find Ballad of Buster Scruggs on. Well, have you ever heard of the Internet Archive? It's a wonderful.
Yeah. Wait a second. Is Ballad of Buster has it been scrubbed from Netflix?
I don't think it's been scrubbed from Netflix, but I did find it on the archive because I can't really stream films in my classroom. I'm not really a pirate, so I'm always trying to find.
I see.
Yeah, I want to support films as much as I can, but I can't. If I can't buy a physical copy of it, I can't share it in my classroom.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
Very difficult. Yeah.
What about you,
Brandon
Jay?
has used the archive as a resource. I didn't know about it till this show, so it's pretty cool to know that it's out there. Yeah, it's like it's truly like a library.
Yeah, totally. What about you, Jay? Any Coen Brothers? You mentioned the lady killers you haven't seen, and
I
guess
haven't
Buster
seen it.
Scruggs.
I have an old friend who is in some of them. He's in No Country. No, that's not true. That's a lie. He's in the one you mentioned before that's black and white with Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh,
with
the man who wasn't there. Yeah.
Man who wasn't there. And he was the machine gun guy in the one where they're escaped convicts that I can't think of the name of.
Oh,
with
the
Jug Boys.
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? Yeah.
That guy that's a great show.
just rewatched
Michael
that yesterday.
Badalucco. Oh yeah, there you go. So he was Michael
I love this
Badalucco is
movie.
his name. He is an amazing human being. He is as New Yorker gets. I worked with him for years at David E. Kelley. He was a lawyer on the practice, but he grew up being a New Yorker, and his dad was a prop guy in Hollywood. So like a lot of movies, his famous movies his dad worked on, and he never thought he would like be an actor getting paid a lot of money to be on a TV show winning Emmys and stuff. So he was like really grateful, really, really freaking appreciative. And that just got around. I don't even know if he's the best actor in the world or not, but I know he's one of the best fucking dudes I've ever met in Hollywood. And I think that might be how he got into Coen Brothers movies and then stayed in Coen Brothers movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably Big Lebowski might be the one I was fucking introduced to first, just because
I think
Everett,
that was
like
my
Miller's
first
Crossing
one,
I
too.
saw later. Barton Fink I saw later.
I also wonder if it was The Big Lebowski. It's been so long that I can't remember. I remember when I went.
Well,
to
that was
No Country for Old
'97 when
Men.
that came out, right? So that's
Well,
so
I
long
would've been
ago
too
that
young.
it,
98.
I would have been too young. I would have been 2006 or 2007 when I discovered it. But I had been watching their
Right.
films before then, so I'm not sure. It might have been Fargo. It might have been Fargo.
Oh!
I was-
If Fargo
Yeah.
was before, it would have been Fargo.
Yes, Fargo's 96.
yeah.
Oh, then that's what. Yeah, Fargo would
Yeah.
have been the first one.
Well,
because I told you that was loosely based on the murder in our town with the wood chipper into the lake.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, the,
Well, and-
the Richard
and
Kraft murders in Connecticut.
famously,
Look that
quote
up.
unquote, based on a true story, right? Which ended up getting the Coen Brothers in trouble for Fargo
Yeah.
because a woman died trying to go and dig up the money that was apparently lost along the fence line.
Wow.
Because they as a joke, as an experiment, they put based on a true story at the top of Fargo, and people believed it. For me, I think it was Big Lebowski only because I feel like it was the most accessible. It's the one that like everybody had a copy of or was like on TV, and so I know that was kind of the first film that I was like, oh, okay, these Coen brothers. I'm hearing about them, you know, as a young boy getting into movies. From then it was Fargo, and Fargo I have just fallen in love with, and is definitely, I think it's my favorite Coen movie because I feel like I could watch it anytime. It has all of the elements of a Coen Brothers film that I love. It's got the humor, it's got the dummies, it's got the violence. It does
have the dummies. It's got good dummies, great dummies in that
really good
one.
dummies.
And it's got
What
a
do
great
you think-
hero. Yeah.
It does have a great hero. Oh my God, yeah, and this one too. I guess I don't know if you call her a hero or not. But Brendan, you did end up watching Hail Caesar, right? And what did you think of
love
that?
Hail Caesar.
Because I love Hail Caesar.
I really like Hail Caesar. I feel like I have not had a desire to rewatch it, and I feel like I want to rewatch Barton Fink because it has that same like Hollywood's not nice and let's talk about it kind of thing. So I'd like to watch that film again and watch Hail Caesar kind of back to back. But
Barton Fink's kind of dark and depressing though, and then Hail Caesar is kind of light and funny. I know, right? Sorry, spoiler alert.
But it's true. Yeah, it's very dark.
No, So Hail Caesar, we watched it the first time, and I didn't watch it again for 3 or 4 years. And then I watched it again recently, like in the last year, and I watched it again immediately, and I can't wait to watch it again. So like it might be one of those. By the way, so Big Lebowski was that way with me. A friend showed it to me. I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. Funny. I get, cool. Okay. I don't really get the cowboy, but whatever. I don't need to. But then it stuck with me, and now it's one of my favorite movies, probably.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You bring up the cowboy in The Big Lebowski. That is like a weird character that narrates the movie while you're watching the movie, that is interacting with the characters. And I think that's the kind of stuff that
Talking
the
to
Coen
you.
Brothers have done so well over the years. They can really play with the format of a movie. And because we're watching a movie, they can get away with so much stuff. And that's why I say, like, they make some of the most entertaining films, whether or not, like, for this episode, I wanted to rewatch some of the ones I hadn't seen for a long time. And that was Miller's Crossing, Barton Fink. And then because of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, I wanted to rewatch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which is loosely based off of The Odyssey.
Oh, whoa.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Now that I actually have I know the highlight points of The Odyssey after seeing Christopher Nolan's version of The Odyssey, I got so much more in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou. Had a blast watching it. But rewatching something like Miller's Crossing, I was entertained, but I realized, okay, this is not the kind of Coen Brothers movie that's necessarily for me. There was lots of stuff in it I loved. But then rewatching Barton Fink, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I love about the Coen Brothers. This darkness, these dummies, all of that stuff, the Hollywood, it's like a satire really of the Hollywood system in the 40s, even though they weren't part of the Hollywood system in the 40s. It's incredible what they can do with those weird movies.
You're right about they build worlds and they go, it's our world, we're going to make it however we want, and you just have to deal with it. You'll figure it out.
One of my favorite Coen Brothers films is, I think it's in my top 3, is Raising Arizona. And that film has the most audacious, like, we've got a crazy hell biker who's going to throw grenades at bunnies. And like, that's just something that exists in this world. And we're not going to explain it. We're not going to talk about it. Right.
Yeah.
And I just think it works. The fact that it works, I mean, it could have gone so badly, and it was their second film. I believe it was their second film, right?
It is the follow-up to Blood Simple. Stars Holly Hunter, who we'll talk a little bit about with this movie, and Nicolas Cage, John Goodman for the first time they bring in, and it's a wild, weird movie. It's about
kidnapping. It's a movie about kidnapping.
It's about
stealing babies,
taking a baby, but then it has this wild character, kind of like the cowboy from Big Lebowski, where you're like, how does this exist in the quote unquote real world? They're establishing all of this stuff around us that we are taking as being our world, the real world, but then has this crazy, hellish motorcycle rider that is like from another realm.
Mad Max or something, yeah.
Yes, exactly, out of Mad Max.
I think we'll talk about...
They are big fans of, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I think we'll talk about this, but I think it's interesting to compare this to Raising Arizona, because I think Raising Arizona is the first like really Coen Brothers movie that they made. Like, it's really hard to...
I agree.
And I think that
one of my notes here is this doesn't feel like a Coen Brothers movie.
Right. And there's a few filmmakers that have similar arcs. Like, I always found Wes Anderson was a little bit the same, where Bottle Rocket is a movie and then Rushmore is a Wes Anderson movie. And it's
fully
interesting
agree with that
you get a movie to get your feet wet, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, now let me show you what I can do. But everyone in Raising Arizona seemed to know what was up. And I feel like in this movie that we're going to talk about, one person in particular knew what was up in the cast, but everyone else was maybe trying to figure out who are these guys and what are they trying to get me to do.
Yeah.
Dude, for real.
Yeah.
That's a great note.
Yeah. Okay, so the film we are talking about tonight, Blood
Simple. Wait, one more though. One more.
Go ahead. Yes.
Hudsucker.
Yeah.
I love Hudsucker. I love Paul Newman. I love Tim Robbins. I love Hudsucker because I love the world they build.
Yeah.
It's a little bit How to Succeed in Business, but in this bizarro world, and it's just really, really cool. It's kind of steampunky in a weird way.
Yeah, it is. It is top of my list. If Fargo's number 1, Hudsucker could be number 2.
It's just so weird. It's so weird. I love it.
I can't wait. I have to see it. I will say, like, as time goes by,
and it's fun.
I keep seeing clips and frames from it, and I'm like, I have to see this movie. Every time I see more of it, I want to see it more. But maybe when I was a teenager, I was like, it's about the hula hoop? I don't want to watch that.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Again, and that is such a Coen Brothers thing where you're just like, it's about what? The hula hoop? But this movie to me is like Batman and Brazil. Like it
dude.
Wow.
so good.
Now that I'm an official fan of the film Brazil, it's finally clicked for me. Thank you, Dylan.
But the worlds, those two worlds, it's that
Yes.
it's Tim Burton's Gotham and
Yes.
Terry Gilliam's Brazil. That's incredible. What an astute fucking observation.
And like the Tim Robbins performance is unbelievable. You got a Bruce Campbell performance in Hudsucker Proxy as well.
Totally forgot about. He's a board member, right?
No, I think
forgot
he works
about him.
I think he works in the factory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is an excuse to watch that again. Fantastic.
I caught a Bruce Campbell cameo in Intolerable Cruelty yesterday, by the way. Which,
cool.
That's a very strange film. That's a Coen Brothers movie where George Clooney knows what's going on and nobody else seems to know what's going on. And
I was going to ask you what you thought. I remember watching it when it came out like 20 years ago, and I didn't like it.
See, I
thought it was a bad rom-com.
Yeah, like I didn't love it, but I would say that I saw things in it that were like, oh, okay, so the music stings. I think we're going to talk about it today, but there's a lot of needle drops in that movie that are like, oh, yes, okay. Their ear for music can really kickstart a film. Like the very opening with Jeffrey Rush in the car listening and singing along to a song. I'm like, I'm right here. I'm in the world. But then it falls off.
Oh, Dylan, we lost you.
Myself by accident. So I feel like
that was hilarious.
He's too excited.
He muted himself for the audio listeners. That was hilarious.
Anyway, I wouldn't go seek it out, but I found the local thrift store had 3 copies of Intolerable Cruelty. So wow, you can find.
How many did you buy?
I only bought the one that was widescreen.
Okay, that makes sense. Brandon would have gotten the full screen and the widescreen.
I know.
Well,
I know he would have.
I realized probably part of the reason I haven't seen Lady Killers is because I only have the full screen version.
Oh
Okay,
no,
so
pan and scan, no pan and scan.
Unless it's open matte, but it probably isn't. No, the
probably
Lady Killers is. I've only seen that one once, and I did not like it.
Yeah.
But there are some jokes.
Tom
that really
Hanks,
land.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks, J.K. Simmons.
But he looks like Colonel Sanders from the KFC.
Yes.
And he's probably got the worst version of his accent from Elvis in that movie. Imagine his Elvis accent, and imagine he's even harder to listen to. Yeah, very weird movie.
Yeah. I'll watch
Tom Hanks is one of those American treasures, but he really is only good as Tom Hanks for me.
But we love him that he tries. We love him that he tries all this stuff, don't we?
But even like Jim Lovell, when Apollo 13, he was just being Tom Hanks, right? You know, it was like, all right, awesome, Tom Hanks, I fucking love you.
Yeah.
But some movies, he's somebody else, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
Well,
and there's also
Lady
like
Killers was one of them.
There's the two sides of Tom Hanks, because you've got the Jim Lovell from Apollo 13, but then you've also got the Burbs Tom Hanks, which is like that little higher register, right?
Yeah, but to me it's the same guy. But you're right, that's my favorite Tom Hanks. Money Pit, Burbs, Splash, come on.
I think there's been so many actors over the years where you go, really? This is your Russian submarine captain? Like, okay. So I actually really like
Woody from Toy Story is your captain? Okay. All right.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love it.
Yes. So we're all very familiar with the Coen Brothers. We've all seen probably their greatest works. Maybe we haven't gotten around to their least greatest works. I don't know how you put that kindly.
Can I do one last thing, Brandon?
Yes.
It's one last thing.
No.
I buried the lead. Also, when we used to have a DeLorean time machine and rented it out for things, UTA hired us once to do something for them. It was an internal thing, and we worked with the Coen Brothers. We worked with a ton of celebrities all in one day, but 2 of them in our car were the Coen Brothers, which is kind of cool because I didn't even know what they looked like. I didn't know who they were. I didn't realize nerds. It was. I didn't realize who they were until they left.
Yeah.
Joel and Ethan, I heard that, but I didn't put it together. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, Joel and Ethan
they were in
Coen,
our time machine.
They're brothers from Minnesota. Joel is 71 years old now. Ethan is 68. So they're close in age. They talk about how growing up they were close because they would make movies together. They would take their family's Super 8 camera and they would actually recreate movies they watched on TV. So lots of just inspiration. And it wasn't until they actually were in college that they really became close and kind of formed the singular mind that is the Coen Brothers, which leads them to all of their success through the industry. Joel Coen went to NYU, and that's where he went to university. Ended up doing one semester at the University of Texas because before marrying one of the stars of tonight's film, the lovely Frances McDormand, Joel Coen was actually married to another woman, and he followed her to Texas, was in Texas for 9 months. All the while, kind of, Ethan was doing like normie kind of jobs. He was working at various businesses. Joel ends up getting involved in editing for movies, and he becomes an assistant editor, editing a lot of horror garbage. But one film he gets as an assistant editor is 1981's The Evil Dead, written and directed by Sam Raimi. So Joel Coen is an assistant editor on The Evil Dead, and he sparks up a friendship with Sam Raimi. Now, the famous lore of Evil Dead is the first film is a independently financed film. Sam Raimi went and talked to doctors and dentists in his local area and got a ton of small donations to put together to make his independent film, The Evil Dead. And one of the things that he did is he shot the entire movie on, I think it was like 16 millimeter, like, you know, a home
it might have
camera.
been Super 16, but I think it was
something
16
like that.
millimeter.
Yes, but he shot the entire movie so that he could show it to investors to say, your money is going to be going towards buying 35 millimeter film stock and film gear, and we are going to remake this movie you've seen at a professional 35 millimeter level. And he did that.
So he made the movie twice.
Exactly.
Well,
Three
wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hey-oh.
And then Evil Dead 2, he makes the movie again.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that is what kind of inspires Joel and Ethan Coen to realize, well, Sam did it. We could do it too. If we get a bunch of small donations from people, we can make our own film. So they did that. They spent a year showing people, instead of making the entirety of Blood Simple, a script they had written together, they decided to make a film trailer. And it was a lot of the iconic moments from Blood Simple, the Dan Hedaya crawling on the ground, the bullet holes through the bathroom wall, the shovel sliding across the pavement. But what they specifically did is they didn't show any of the actors' faces because they knew that they were going to, when they got the money, cast real actors like Dan Hedaya and Emmett Walsh. So one of the actors in the original fundraising trailer, which is in the description below if people want to check it out, is Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead. He plays the Dan Hedaya part, crawling out of the car, the half-murdered victim. And so what they would do is they would get these meetings with people, and instead of showing them a movie or asking them to read the script or pitching them, they shot the trailer on 35 millimeter film, got it processed down to 16 millimeter so that they could run it on a little handheld projector that they could bring around to different doctors and dentists' office and say, hey, can I show you a piece of film? Would you like to invest? And they would show them the trailer.
Yeah.
This original fundraising trailer.
It's a great, the trailer is so Sam Raimi. Like, I know it's directed by, it's definitely directed by the Coens too. Like, it's clear, but it's such an influence from that moment. And I just want to take a quick sidestep into Sam Raimi because I talk about him a lot with my students. Okay. Sam Raimi didn't just decide to make a horror movie one day, right? Like, he made movies for years, and he would pay audiences. He would go out and say, I'm going to pay you $1 to come into this theater and watch my horror movie. And he would do that because the most important experience for him was to sit an audience down and to watch them watch his movie and to say, see, did what I do here work? Did it actually make the audience jump? Did it make them do what I wanted it to do? And he like worked hard to create the style of film that ended up becoming The Evil Dead. So by the time it passed the Coen Brothers, they were like, whoa, what was this? That's my recollection anyways, is it looks, even though it looks, there's so much of it that is crude, it has so much going on that is like, that hits you in the heart, like how a movie should, right?
Yeah, it all works technically from a film perspective of like, oh yeah, like I'm the rise and the fall of the action and the emotions and the horror and the effects, because like he's been like scientifically working his way towards a professional big film like The Evil Dead.
Yeah, and the Evil Dead was such a crazy film experience. If you've never kind of taken a deep dive into what that was like for the actors, I think they've all kind of talked about how strange and weird that was and how much of a challenge that film was to make. That movie is a miracle that it came out the way it is. And I think movies are so damn hard. Like Videotronyxz was really damn hard to make. Yes. Any movie is very hard to make. It's a miracle that any of them get finished. But Evil Dead is really like a movie that could inspire you as a young filmmaker, because how is this even possible to make this movie for nothing? Now, I think the Coen Brothers, I'm probably going to jump you here, but they raised more money than Sam Raimi ever did to make this movie. Am I correct in that? And I don't know if that was just based on the strength of their trailer. I actually have no idea why they made so much money, why they raised so much money.
They did have a goal in mind. And their goal was $500,000 initially. That's what they wanted to raise, and they did it. It took them a year to do it. I can't remember how much Sam Raimi
I think
raised.
He had like $100,000, and I think the initial $80,000 was like, it was locked behind a wall. It was like a Kickstarter. It was like, if we earn 80,000, then we'll take your money. But if we don't earn 80,000, you'll get your money back. And so they had to like hit this certain mark. And then they turned that into more money because they were able to start filming and get more people on board. Yeah. But yeah, very limited funds for Evil Dead, but it was 4 years earlier. So I wonder what the industry, like what the indie industry changed in that time. Like, did Evil Dead change everything? Did suddenly people go, well, now we can make movies like this? Right?
I think that's a part of it, because I'm sure that was something that they were talking about with people while they're pitching it, is like, it has been done before. You know, we're the next people to do it. Yeah, we're trying to raise a little bit more because we want to make a bigger budget movie.
I think it's interesting.
But the precedent has been set.
Well, for sure, and it's been set in horror. Like, I think it's interesting that their trailer is very horror, even though this is not a horror movie. But it has moments that are like that, and I think they really leaned into that to try and capitalize. At least I'm sure I would have.
and they were fully aware of that, because when the Coen Brothers talk about that time of fundraising, they're very aware that they purposely made the trailer, the original fundraising trailer, more horror forward because horror is easier to sell. And then once they had the money, then they could really, flesh it out and realize that there's some violence, there's some gore in their final product, but it's not as Sam Raimi Evil Dead horror forward as the original fundraising trailer turns out to be, even though there is a very Evil Dead Sam Raimi shot in the final product of Blood Simple, when the camera kind of runs up on the front lawn when Dan Hedaya is trying to kidnap Frances McDormand out of the house, that long running bouncing.
That's a shaky cam sighting right there, right?
That is Deadite possession through the forest from Evil Dead, directly from Sam Raimi.
There's a couple of shaky cam sightings in this movie, and especially in Raising Arizona. And then I think they finally maybe steady cam gets a little bit more ubiquitous, but steady cam was locked behind like a $20,000, like, but you have to pay an expert to use it. So let's put a camera on a board. Yeah, and have 2 or 3 people hold it
and run.
and very interesting. Yeah.
We sort of mentioned him already, but he is a collaborator from the beginning with the Coen Brothers. Barry Sonnenfeld. He starts out his career as a cinematographer. He shoots the original Blood Simple fundraising trailer, and he is the cinematographer for Blood Simple, Miller's Crossing, Raising Arizona. So the first couple Coen Brothers movie. He also does Throw Mama from the Train. He does Big with Tom Hanks.
Whoa.
Another great Tom Hanks performance. When Harry Met Sally and Misery with Rob Reiner. Those are all Barry Sonnenfeld cinematography gigs. Now, Barry Sonnenfeld also ends up becoming a director, and he makes some incredible studio films. I think most people probably know his work from a little franchise called Men in Black. Mm-hmm. All three of those original are Barry Sonnenfeld films. He also does the two Addams Family movies, which are fantastic. Christopher Lloyd.
For me, it's Get Shorty. Get
Shorty. Yeah,
one of the best Hollywood movies out there.
Wild West with Will Smith. RV with Robin Williams is a Barry Sonnenfeld film.
Hang on, it seems like Dylan may not like Get Shorty.
No, it wasn't Get Shorty. It was Wild West.
Well, that's a rough one, but he did that one too.
Yeah. I'm curious, is it I don't know if this is true or not, but it seems to me that that's a bit of an unusual transition to go from a DP to a director. Because I know that I often talk with my students, like, you can get to directing through all different ways. Some of them through visual art, like Ridley Scott, some through theater directing, some through, like, I'm going to be a director, and some from writing. But I feel like director of photography is an unusual path. I don't know if you know if that's...
From my experience, it's actually very, very common. It's just that most people, it takes so hard to climb to the top of one ladder. To switch over to another one is a risky thing. But it happens a lot in TV directors because they have the chance to do it. Yeah. If you've got a show that's been on the air for a few seasons, then all of a sudden the producers, the cast, some of the above the line crew, like a DP, are going to get episodes that they're able to direct. Because all of a sudden they have they just because they can. It's the fourth season. They're writing their own check. They can. So so their DP is going to do one. And I've been on both sides of whether that's a good idea or not. And sometimes people get the one shot. Sometimes they might even get a second shot. But from my experience, like, only if you're really good does that actually happen, and then can transfer.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Jeannot a lot on this show. He went the other way. He was like a film director who then made his career doing television.
Director of Jaws 2, Santa Claus the movie, which we've talked about. Supergirl, I believe, is a Swart film. Yes. Yep,
and Somewhere in Time came up the other day. But it's very common in TV just because the opportunity presents itself. In cinema, like, do we see Dean Cundey going over to go direct some fucking other thing?
He did.
He does. He does. Well, I was going to say,
one of my favorite childhood movies, Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, the straight-to-home video, third in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids franchise, and I will say it's amazing. It's an incredible movie. Much like a franchise, I always use the example of The Purge, where the first movie has an interesting idea and then doesn't go with it. I mean, The Purge is like 24 hours, crime is legal, and it's not till the second movie that they actually follow through with that idea. I look at Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and I go, you have Rick Moranis. Wouldn't it be funny to shrink Rick Moranis? And it's not till the third movie that they realize, like, oh yeah, it would be funny if Rick Moranis is tiny in this one. And that's why I love Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
Interesting.
Sorry to derail, but I had to defend Mr. Cundy.
I feel like I set it up and you fucking spiked it. It was beautiful.
And I got to tell him that when I met him. It was awesome. I got to tell him how much I love Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
Anyway, point being, if you've climbed to the top of your ladder where you're a cinematographer, it's a risky move, but it is still DGA. Well, no, I guess it's not because you're in the Camera Union 400.
Well, and Cinematographers Union. Jan de Bont. Jan de Bont is another one who was
another one.
Another cinematographer who goes on to direct and has success in directing Twister. Speed, yes, that's another one. But he was a cinematographer first.
I'm reminded.
A good one too. Yeah. Oh, he did The Haunting too. That 1999 The Haunting.
reminded that probably one of our favorite directors sometimes doesn't even have a cinematographer, and so therefore kind of is his own
Oh,
cinematographer.
look at that.
Paul Thomas
Yeah.
Anderson, is that who you're
Yeah.
referring to?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, but I don't think we want to go down that rabbit hole too
No,
much.
no, that
but that's not quite the same thing.
That
That's not quite the same
tangent is
thing.
too big. I have such admiration for Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
The last thing I sort of wanted to talk about Barry Sonnenfeld is he actually a few years ago moved up to British Columbia. He lives
Did he
in
really?
Pemberton, BC. Yes, he left the country based on current administration and his dislike for the current administration. So he left and moved
Where?
up to beautiful British Columbia.
So Pemberton is north of Whistler, so it's quite
Yes.
remote. But if you want to just go live in the mountains,
Yeah.
you couldn't pick a better place that is also about 2 hours from Vancouver. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. Another collaborator that starts his career with the Coen Brothers is composer Carter Burwell. Carter Burwell has scored every single Coen Brothers film except for 2. Do you guys want to take a guess at what 2 Carter Burwell has not scored?
I would have guessed this one because I didn't remember any music in it, shy of like the songs
It's the
that they put
piano.
in it.
The piano.
Du-du-du-du-du-du-du.
Oh,
That's Carter
okay.
Burwell, yeah,
Uh,
and some mute, like some noise fills out the
Which
score.
2?
They're
Let me
just-
just look at my.
yeah.
Let me look at my list.
There wasn't
and
much
see
of a
if I can call
score
it.
that I remember.
I'm
I
going
find
to
it-
say, "Oh brother, where art thou?" And I'm going to say, "Burn After Reading."
Oh, I
You
forgot about Burn After Reading. That's a funny one.
love Burn After Reading. Oh my god.
Yeah.
When
When he punches Brad
underrated.
Pitt, it's amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
You are
Yeah.
half right, Dylan. So Carter Burwell does some additional music work on Oh Brother Where Art Thou, but that movie is primarily scored with
Yes.
traditional music of the time period, right? The other film it was kind of a trick question, is Inside Llewyn Davis, which is also
Oh.
just
Of
full of
course.
old traditional folk music. So
I should have gone all in on those music, but yes, those 2 make the most sense. Of course,
yeah,
they do.
those are the 2 Coen Brothers films that Carter Burwell hasn't specifically scored, but he has done every other score for them. And his involvement with the Coen Brothers comes from somebody else on the crew who just suggests, hey, I know a guy who's in a band who could probably write some music for the movie. And so they met with Carter Burwell. They had showed they showed him like a reel of the edited movie. He never really says what scene it was, but it didn't really have dialogue, and he just was getting the idea of it. So he put together a few ideas, a few pieces, and they ended up really liking his little simple piano that kind of plays throughout the movie. Do-do-do-do-do. And it's that mixed with a bunch of kind of more synthetic audio sound effects, kind of edited and kind of altered, that kind of make up the quote unquote score of this movie. And the other person who works on that with him is a guy named Skip Leavesay. And that was the guy who suggested Carter Burwell to the Coen Brothers. And he is also a guy that has worked on every single Coen Brothers movie up until the current day. Even the movies later when Joel and Ethan are directing their own separate projects. Skip Leavesay is a sound editor. And, he's, besides the Coen Brothers, he's also done modern films like Marty Supreme, the Michael J. Fox documentary Still, that was shot locally, that I got a small part in. Lady Bird, Big Fish, Secret Life of Walter Mitty, Birdman. Wow. These are all films that Skip is working on.
I love Secret Life of Walter Mitty so much.
Yeah. But I just find it so fascinating that all of these guys, they assembled this team, and even some of the actors that they continue to work with through their entire career. All these people who kind of ultimately saw the Coen Brothers and took them seriously. And they clearly all worked well together. Carter Burwell, who wrote the music, he was so inexperienced at that time in his career, the first film he'd ever scored, that when he saw the I can't remember if it was the rough cut or if it was the actual release of the film, but the first time he saw the movie is when he realized that the Coen brothers had the ability to sort of like move his music around and sort of chop up some of his music and put it in other places. And he was initially kind of mad that they messed with his music.
Quit
and then
fucking with my art, man.
Yeah. And then he realized, like, oh, it works there. Okay, I wasn't getting that from that, but I see what they're doing. And
wow. That's an amazing collaboration if you can land. Yeah.
This is an interesting film because I don't know if we get this movie. Yes, the Coen brothers can write, they can clearly direct, but I think the editing instincts, and I don't know if that's all Joel, but Joel's editing experience surely served them well on this film. That it feels like, as I remind my students all the time, you make a movie 3 times, you have to write it, you have to film it, and the third time is the most important, is actually putting the damn movie together. And I think that if not for some editing experience, this movie might have been forgotten. It might have been a great movie that just didn't exist because it was lost in a bad edit. But I think that's a very deft move to take that sound and reuse what is a very slim piece of music, but fills out the whole film for sure.
Yeah. Well, he did spend a whole year editing this movie because they ended up shooting in 1983 and it doesn't come out. Let me double check that. Yeah. Sorry. They shot it in 1982 and he spends the entirety of around 1983 editing it because I don't know if either of you guys noticed, but this movie gets labeled as a 1984 movie as well as a 1985 movie, and that's because it eventually gets released through film festivals in 1984, but isn't released in theaters in North America till January 18th, 1985. So it technically its wide release is a 1985 movie, but its initial audiences at film festivals and the buzz that came around this movie all did happen in 1984. But he spent an entire year putting this movie together. The audiences at film festivals and the I just heard where were we? Okay. Let's talk about this cast because there is some really great people in this movie. First and foremost, Frances McDormand.
Frances McDorable.
Yes, an absolute legend. Her first feature film.
Yeah, I'd never seen her this young.
I think her first acting gig in general.
Like a kid.
Like I don't think she'd done theater or anything. I think
she was doing theater at the time.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not like quote unquote professional theater, but she was acting at the time. And the reason she sort of gets this job is because the Coen brothers originally approach Holly Hunter. Holly Hunter is
hilarious,
acting professionally on Broadway and in plays in New York, and they initially approach her to do the part of Abby. And she has to turn it down because she has a play coming up and can't give them the time to go and shoot in Texas. Yeah. And so it's Holly Hunter who tells Frances McDormand, hey, you should go audition for this. I think you would be good for this part. And so Holly Hunter is the reason Frances McDormand is cast in this movie.
Which is so funny because I look at Holly Hunter in Raising Arizona, and I just imagine that that's the way she would play the character, but of course she wouldn't. But she's such a different actor than Frances McDormand. I feel like it wouldn't have been a miscast, but I feel like we would have missed this version of this character, which I think is really lovely, the way that it's written and that Frances inhabits this character.
Yeah. Watching a lot of interviews, one of the things that I took away from the interviews with Frances McDormand and even the interviews with Joel and Ethan Coen, all of these are available on the Criterion Collection disc, which I don't have, but I definitely am going to pick up now.
It's a great disc, yeah.
You can find some of them on YouTube, but also on the Criterion channel. They are all the way they talk about this movie is so funny to me. Frances McDormand talks about her performance and how she just wanted to make sure that her theatrical training didn't come across on film. She didn't want to seem too big. And so a lot of the time when it's close-ups on her face, she herself is thinking, just keep your mouth open and kind of look surprised. Like, do nothing. She's just like, the audience will infer what's happening based on, you know, the editing and what the story, the music, what's going on in this movie. But a lot of the times, like when you see her kind of like looking at the safe and it's just a close up on her face and she's kind of just like staring with her mouth open, she is trying to not do anything with her face.
Well, it works for her. I would say that if her character had to be more active until the very end, because I think at the very end, not to jump ahead in the plot, but I think she really does become the main character of this film by taking hold of the plot and going, okay, I'm going to accept that I have to do this. Yeah. But I think it makes it she has to exist for the whole first 80 minutes of the film, kind of riding the train of the movie to get to that point, right? So I think it's interesting that she shows in the end of the movie that she has that, but I like that she doesn't do anything the rest of the movie. It's so simple.
To me, it adds to the suspense. I agree with you. Mm-hmm. The scene where he's coming back after the fucking boyfriend, whatever. Man, this movie was all over the place for me. I watched it twice. I literally, the moment it was over, I let it start right back over again because I knew I missed stuff. But when she's, you know, she doesn't know what he did, and he thinks she does. That whole thing where that doing nothing thing worked to her favor because I was captivated by her.
Yeah. There's a lot of empty space in that scene, and I think a lesser actor would have filled it with stuff because you feel like, well, I have to act here. But it's so lovely that she had the guts to just sit in that.
Yes, and that space is what makes the scene resonate for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even just like the foresight to be able to think this is her first movie, but also like, okay, like I don't want to read too theatrically on camera. Knowing from the get-go what she has to do technically with the muscles in her face in order to achieve a performance that will endure and can be.
Can I just say how endearing it is to also not hear another method acting story too? It's just like it's a reverse method acting. I'm just gonna do it the outside in. I'm just gonna look surprised. And sure enough,
mouth open works. A little bit. Yeah. Obviously, Frances McDormand, as I mentioned, goes on to marry Joel Coen. They've been married.
I didn't know that.
Since, yes, they married in 1984 and have been together ever since.
That's awesome.
Frances McDormand has won 3 Academy Awards for her acting. And
one as a producer, if I'm not mistaken. One as a producer as well.
Yes, and she did produce Women Talking. Mm-hmm. But yes, Fargo is Fargo, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and then Nomadland.
So good. I forgot about Nomadland. Yeah.
I haven't seen Nomadland.
And then she does win for producing Women Talking, which has come up on this show already.
And she is fabulous in. Yeah.
The director of Women Talking is Sarah Polley, who is an actress and a child actress in One Magic Christmas, the Mary Steenburgen, Harry Dean Stanton. So if you go back and watch that episode, we'll talk about Sarah Polley in that episode.
Classic ABY episode.
I'm sure you're going to make like a Road to Avonlea reference because that's a Canadian treasure of a television show, but no, you go to
One Magic Christmas. Sarah Polley, Academy Award winner. I believe in that episode I say there is 2 Academy Award winners in One Magic Christmas. One of them is Mary Steenburgen. The other is little Sarah Polley, who wins it many years later for Women Talking.
Wow.
I mean, Frances McDormand is awesome. You go and you watch any of her speeches at the Academy Awards. She is like the greatest supporter and cheerleader of her fellow nominees and women in film and you know, human rights, like all of these like great, she just seems like such a cool lady. And I've always loved her, and part of that is like her performance in Fargo is unmatched. She plays a pregnant cop. Like it's all of these things are, they're just like
Married to Norm.
Married to
Norm.
or the Zodiac, depending on.
Oh yeah.
He's been in a lot of things, but yeah, of course, the Zodiac too.
Yeah. What is his name? I always forget his name. He has three names.
He's got three names. Yeah, we had him on David E. Kelly too.
Isn't he a Lynch? What is his name?
Yeah, Paul Thomas Lynch, John Paul Lynch.
If you
You're
can
right,
find
it's something.
his- if
Kevin
you can
Lynch.
find, if you can find his interviews about that performance in Zodiac, they're really fascinating. Because as an actor, I'm like, how do you make this scene work? And he has I think he's guided by Fincher, of course.
John Carroll
but
Lynch. Something
really
Carroll
interesting.
Lynch.
Yes, you are
You're
correct.
right.
John Carroll Lynch. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jay.
John Carroll Lynch. Okay.
Yeah, man, he is so good in Zodiac. Oh my
He's
god.
great.
Yeah,
It's great.
great actor. Yeah, I mean, Frances McDormand, absolutely legendary.
Almost Famous. She's great and Almost Famous.
Yeah. Moonrise Kingdom, Wes Anderson, we talked a little bit about. Burn After Reading, which, you know,
yeah.
Hilarious.
I think it's underrated. I revisited very recently and absolutely loved it. I just don't think I personally don't think I was old enough when it came out to like really enjoy it or get it.
Yep.
And now rewatching it a little bit older, I love it.
That was a very interesting film for me because I think it kind of went away and I forgot it existed, like you, Jay. But when I saw it in theaters, I remember laughing for minutes after the one big dramatic event that happens in a closet.
Yes.
I was just
Shocking.
beside myself, like laughing for multiple minutes after that moment. And I think it's their funniest film, but it does push the boundaries of like ridiculousness, which all their movies do. Don't they?
Yeah.
Right.
And again,
Is it the
back to
funniest?
idiots.
Yeah.
It's idiots and dummies. Like that's what
Dude.
the Coen brothers know how to write.
They didn't write
these-
any smart people in that movie. They are all dumb.
Everybody and I think that like that's some of my favorite, not to say that like is it Margie in Fargo, like she's not an idiot.
No.
That's a great character, but Steve Buscemi and I can't remember the
Peter
other actor's name.
Stormare.
Peter Stormare, thank you, Dylan.
Where is Pancake's house?
They are idiots, right? One of them is an idiot that talks too much, and one of them is an idiot who barely talks, right? William H.
Perfect.
Macy is
Classic
an idiot,
combo.
right?
Yes.
He is a total buffoon.
He's the biggest idiot in the thing.
Yes. And they just know how to write those dimwits, those overconfident dimwits so well that I just love watching them. And Frances McDormand and Brad Pitt in Burn After Reading are total buffoons.
So this movie, Blood Simple, just off of what you were just saying there, I don't think that there are any truly stupid people in this movie, true dummies.
Yeah,
But
I
do
agree.
think there are a lot of naive people, and I would say that's the other kind of arc that they kind of attach there.
Well,
one of my favorite films
for me,
of theirs is No
Yeah,
Country for Old Men.
naivete.
Yeah,
Do you think Bad Judgment too? Because the reason I found this so hard to watch was this struck me as Thelma and Louise all over again. It just felt like here's a movie that everything's going so poorly because of all these bad decisions. Everyone's just making bad decisions left and right, and it doesn't need to be this way. And it was very frustrating.
This week
Yeah.
I watched this movie with someone who was watching it for the first time, and they just started saying things when Ray is cleaning up the blood. Like,
Yes.
no,
Oh, it's awful.
Idiot.
Yeah,
no,
but- and
I'm
that's
like,
the
Kill
thing.
me.
He
This
is
was my first time.
He's
It was
kind of
awful.
dumb. He's kind of dumb. He's literally using his windbreaker, which is a non-absorbent material, to clean up blood.
just watching.
Yeah,
the
I'm
drips-
back to
the
Brandon. He
drips
is an
on the
idiot. This
ground.
guy's an
Yeah.
idiot.
You're right. If there's an idiot, it's Ray. I do think that this movie does something unusual where nobody is bothered by where the plot goes. Nobody is bothered that we had to get to killing people except for Ray. Ray is the one who can't live with it. And I think that's an interesting thing, is that the movie, even Frances McDormand is like, okay, here we
You
are.
think?
And I think that's interesting, right? Like there's no one else who is quite, I think she has that moment of realization in the film where we see her realize what's happened. The classic shot of her falling back onto the bed, right?
Yeah.
Where she's realized what's gone on, but she doesn't run away. she goes and gets her gun, right? Essentially. And she gets like, she's kind of prepped for what's going on.
And what I think this particular film represents of what the Coens write so well is overconfidence. I think all of these characters are overconfident in their abilities, whether or not they're dumb and dim-witted. Some of the other dummies in the Coen Brothers canon are also overconfident, and that's what I think.
You're right.
I think Dan Hedaya, Marty, he's overconfident that he can, hire an assassin or a hitman to kill his wife and his wife's lover. And Emmett Walsh is overconfident that he can handle all of this and pull one over on the guy that hired him to kill people. John Getz as Ray is overconfident that he can clean up and handle this whole situation. Abby is confident that she can handle this transition of leaving her husband and moving on and being with Ray.
Maybe her overconfident moment is the ending of the movie too, is when she thinks she understands what's going on and she calls the person in the door Marty, and then Emmett Walsh just laughs like,
her last line is, "I'm not afraid of you, Marty," right? Because this whole time she thinks that it's actually her husband who is trying to kill them and coming after them, not knowing that he is been buried alive halfway through this film, right? Even though Ray,
but she does know
that, but she's having the nightmares, the visions, and
that he's still alive.
That and she
the foley of that blood splatter was insane. By the way,
so Evil Dead, Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Can I ask, Brandon, was this your first time watching this movie?
No.
Okay.
But my first time watching the movie in probably 10 years.
Yeah.
Like that's why I had to rewatch Miller's Crossing and Barton Fink, because those were like really early when I was trying to absorb as much film as possible as a young budding cinephile. Things like Raising Arizona, I have revisited many times over the years because I find that movie so much fun. It's like a Looney Tunes cartoon live action movie, and so I always kind of go back like, oh yeah, I could put on Raising Arizona. That's a fun Nicolas Cage movie.
To me, that's the lightest, funniest one of them all.
To me, it's interesting because it's definitely lightest and funniest, but it's super deft. There's moments in that movie where I go, this was, as a film teacher, perhaps is my eye, I'm doing things like, I'm like, oh wow, this is like a really unusual shot that you chose for this, and it's adding depth to this movie. And that's just the Coen Brothers in a nutshell for me, is that they take what could be a simple film and they add like layers with simple choices. For this movie, there's not that many layers, but they are there. They're just not, it's just not as deep as some of the other films.
Although,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, go ahead,
for
Dylan.
Me, Dan Hedaya this time, I saw the film. I chose this movie because something about your podcast always made me just want to be nostalgic for films I've seen before. And it was one of the films left on the list that I had seen, not like in the last year, but like many, many years ago. When I was in high school, I discovered the Coen Brothers and I found a copy of this and watched it and kind of went, oh, okay. And then I moved on and it was like, okay, good. But it's not like
that's kind of how I felt too. I remember watching it, but like not like maybe connecting with it or not really knowing the full backstory at that time,
Yeah. Well, the backstory almost makes the movie the same way it makes it for Evil Dead a little bit. But Dan Hedaya in this movie, this time in particular, I was just drawn like to him on screen all the time. And I think this movie has a little bit, if I'm going to say that there's an issue with it, I think that it's a small cast and partway through the movie, you lose one of the lead characters. And I think that gap is kind of a cavern in this movie. Kind of like how when I was watching Game of Thrones and I liked that show, sometimes I'd go, what's wrong with the show? Why isn't it good anymore? All the people I liked in it are dead. Okay.
That is a really good point, because if I really think about who are the best written characters in this movie, it is Marty, Dan Hedaya, because and Emmett Walsh. And those two characters, one of them leaves because they're murdered halfway through. The other one is not there all the way through. And then Ray has really not a lot to do or say in this movie.
This is two different movies before and after the murder.
Well, and I do think that's
for
why
me.
Ray is kind of given the chance to be the moral compass of the audience a little bit, but to reference to
No
reference
way.
the movie, well, because
the
he's like
dumb guy.
but he did something wrong, and I think he is dumb, but he did something wrong for love, and then he's like, oh no, I cannot live with what I did. And I think the audience also probably feels like they could.
And what he
That
does for
makes sense.
love is he thinks he's protecting the woman that he loves. It's a whole miscommunication, right? Again, back to what the Coen brothers are so good at writing is all of these problems could be solved with a simple conversation. But in Coen
Why didn't they
Brothers
ever write
movie,
sitcoms? They'd be perfect at writing sitcoms.
You're right. Well, and this is it. I think, Jay, that something about the ending of this film bothered me in a sitcom kind of way, that I'm like, can you not just please sit down and communicate with each other?
Yeah.
yeah, but
Right.
that's what they do.
Yeah.
Almost all of their movies, some sort of conflict stems out of like, these two people could just have a simple conversation, a blood simple conversation, and figure things out. But no, nobody talks to each other, nobody's communicating, and shit hits the fan all the time.
And yet it feels very human. It doesn't feel like it's been like the plot is laying on the characters and telling them what to do. Like when they're lovers who've just connected and they're feeling a little bit sensitive about how deep to reveal themselves, their hearts to each other, to get a little bit rom-commy about this. But that is like really intense. That worry of like, how much can I actually trust this person? Because Francis McDormand, I love that Dan Hedaya in the writing, but his character does it so well. He makes Ray doubt Francis McDormand in that early scene by the bug zapper.
It's a great setup. Yes.
It's a great setup because we as the audience now are reminded.
The line specifically is,
trust her.
she'll say something to you, like, I ain't done anything funny. And he specifically says that line so that, later in the film, when Francis McDormand says to Ray, when he's talking to her about how I found the body, I found Marty, you tried to kill him, I finished the job. And he's not really he's kind of alluding to it. And she says specifically what Marty says earlier in the film. She says, but Ray, I haven't done anything funny. And that kind of changes his whole perspective on Abby, not to mention the fact that he thinks that she killed somebody or attempted to kill somebody, and he had to finish the job for her, but is clearly struggling with, taking a human life, right? And burying a man alive.
Jay, talking about this film as a first impression, are there moments that made you go like, that's the moment, that's the movie? Or was this like a movie where you're like, I don't know if there are redeeming moments in this. I think it's a great movie, but I do think it has some flaws. So I'm curious if you noticed the things shine through it, or if those flaws were a little bit large in your mind as you were watching this film.
Again, first and second time, both today.
First time caller, long time listener.
Yes.
Right. I don't know. I was never even aware of this movie until Brandon brought it up that we were doing it on the show. So like, I really was coming in blind and didn't know what to expect. The copy I got was like, it must have been that Criterion 4K release because it looked stunning. And I would say one of its redeeming qualities for me was how good this movie looks. I like the shots. I like the camera movements. I like the textures. I like
neon light.
The sets. There's neon light. There's grit to it. Brandon, you talk about how like in space movies, you like the grittier future versus the shiny polished future.
Star Wars.
This was very gritty. Yeah, this one's there's a lot of texture in this world. So like, I didn't mind the world we were living in, but it just, I kept getting caught up in I wish we weren't here. I like the world, but I wish I was with different people doing something else in it, that kind of thing. But yeah, there were moments that did stick with me, specifically. Almost everything is either Dan Hedaya or, let me rephrase that. Almost everything positive is Dan Hedaya or M.M. Walsh. Frances McDormand also is just delightful, and I took no issue with her, but I did have a hard time with Ray, man. I had a hard time with Ray.
Yes.
I had a hard time with everything Ray did. I had a hard time with every frame that he was in.
Yes, the Coen brothers are so aware that they gave nothing for him to do, and a lot of the plot and the story relies on him after the halfway point.
At one point, I go, man, he's like a Jack Tripper, dumb as fuck, right? He's like from Three's Company. And then when I was looking up his credits, of course, he did do an episode of Three's Company, and he played Jack Tripper's brother, like Chip Tripper or something.
That's so funny.
When it comes to a moment, though, that like when I think of this movie, what will be my takeaway? Like, what will I see as the moment? It will be absolutely Dan Hedaya with pointing the gun out of the grave and then being buried alive.
Yeah.
That scene fucked me up. I would go, holy shit, I didn't give a crap about this movie, and now it's affecting me physically.
Yeah.
I'm getting claustrophobic. I can hear him suffocating. I can alive. You don't have me need to be doing that. You're making every wrong decision. It's just like Thelma and Louise.
And it's so funny for the film to make you have. I don't think that we know much about Marty. We just know that he's not a very,
We know he's not a good guy.
nice
Maybe mob.
guy.
Who knows? Yeah,
I
he
mean,
doesn't have the
he's
money to back
hiring-
up his shit.
He's hiring someone to kill people. That's not very nice.
And
But
he's hitting on that woman at the bar
yes,
at the beginning of the movie. So
That's a great scene.
he's mad that Ray has taken Abby away from him, right? They clearly have a long-standing relationship. They're married, but we see like the photos of them in their house. But regardless, he still is hitting on that woman in the bar. He's trying to sleep with her. So we know that
Oh, and I'm sure he's done it before.
Exactly.
He's not a good guy.
We know that he's not a good husband or a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because I think to make us feel how you felt, Jay, and I felt the same way. And I'd forgotten. I think I've even seen this film in the last couple of years, but I'd forgotten how visceral that moment was. I knew we were getting there. I just kind of wait to get there. I think one of my
I didn't know we were
concerns-
getting there, and all I could think was, no matter what this guy did, he doesn't deserve this. It's like that. It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you caught this in your research, Brandon. I actually can't remember where I found this or where I heard this, but there's some Hitchcock quotes that relate to this, to the Coen brothers talking about this movie. They talk about like how Hitchcock had a quote where killing a person is really hard because you have to kill them and then you have to get rid of the body, right? Like it's really difficult. But
also in reference to, it's not as simple as shooting somebody and they die.
Yes.
Right.
Because in this movie, they do show that they're like, let's take inspiration from that. How long does it actually take you to die?
Yeah.
And it's a long time, of course, but the film also is a reference. And I can't remember if I'm sure the Coens themselves talked about it in one of the commentary discs, but they were trying to do a remake of Psycho with this movie of like, hey, the character cleans up the murder after someone else and they do a really good job, but that's not realistic. You do a really bad job. So what if the person does clean up a murder and they do a bad job of cleaning it up, but it still kind of works because you just cleaned up the murder. So like from that germ, or at least when I imagine the connection to Psycho, I had to rewatch Psycho this week just to kind of build that connection in my mind. And I think it's interesting to see how, okay, is Ray now starting to be connected to Norman's character in that film? Like there's a lot of really interesting connections to Psycho now that I didn't see when I first watched this movie.
Yeah, I didn't come across any sort of Psycho connection, but I did come across them talking about that Alfred Hitchcock quote about how it actually is difficult to kill somebody.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting.
I understand
to
the. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I understand the parallel you're making, except that Ray didn't kill anyone in this movie.
Well, no, but Norman didn't
But
either.
he does
Norman's
because he buries
mother-
because
alive.
Norman's mother does through him.
He cleans up Norman's mother.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
interesting.
You're right,
Yeah,
because it's
Yeah.
this split personality situation. I see.
I wanted to talk. We'll get into the some of the other actors a little bit deeper, but one of the things that I really did love and appreciate about this movie was a lot of the setup and payoff of things. And one of them, you kind of brought it up, Jay, is when Dan Hedaya is half buried and he pulls the gun out and is aiming it at Ray. Ray is close to dying because early in the film, it is established that Abby has 3 bullets in her gun.
In that gun.
when
Yes.
I have a lot of questions about the bullet order in this movie because he pulls the trigger 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 3.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it in terms of that, but
Because anyway, sorry, did you
In the grave, he pulls it a bunch.
because I know Emmett Walsh pulls it open, sees 3 bullets, closes it,
4 times.
Yes.
knows how he sets it up. So then he sets it up and he shoots
one
Marty,
bullet. Yes.
right? Then the gun gets kicked by Ray.
Ray walks in, and when he finds
bullet number 2 goes off.
Yes.
Right. So now we know then Emmett Walsh put the middle bullet in the chamber, not the first bullet and not the last bullet.
The only thing I would say is
clicks.
Is there another shot? Does Ray look at the gun after he picks it up? That would be the only thing I didn't keep track of, because if he opens the gun, it could have reset in a different way. But ultimately, ultimately what they're playing with is there is one more bullet in that gun, and Marty is clicking it a bunch of times in the grave. And by the time Ray takes the gun, it is set up so that later in the film, that bullet, that final bullet, is next in line, and that's what Abby uses to shoot Visser, Emmett Walsh, through the door at the end of the film.
If I'm not mistaken, the Coens had a theater background as well, and I think that that's such a clear, like, Chekhov's gun. Like, we have to set up and pay off things very specifically. They have to be shown, and the things that are shown have to take place. I think it's similar with Emmett Walsh's. Yeah, I think it's interesting. Emmett Walsh's lighter, because that's another one I was going to say. Paid off, but not paid off in the way we expect, because it's paid off in that it's still there at the end.
Yeah, there's so many, like the lighter. I absolutely love the lighter. Establish it up front that it's got his name on it. It's personalized. He's a big smoker. He's always got his lighter. He leaves it behind. Later, he goes to light the cigarette.
Such a good moment.
All the employees must wash hands signs all over the bar. You know, all of these little things that I just really appreciate, especially from their first film. They set and pay off a lot of these things.
There's a lot of interesting camera angles here, which is, I think, interesting for a young filmmaker. I think often the young filmmakers I see just hold the camera at eye level. They don't think to do a lot of elaborate angles. But we see the ceiling of this building, and it's horrible. Like, I love that they found a building. It's good production design, even if it was the actual building the way it was, because you look at the ceiling of this place and you're like, this is a real place. It's really lived in. It's a real bar. I love that about this so much. One
of the most hilarious things, and I've linked it in the description already below, but there is about an hour-long video of the Coen Brothers and Barry Sonnenfeld going through almost the entirety of Blood Simple, and they are just ripping it apart.
Especially Barry Sonnenfeld.
I'm sure they are now.
They are talking all about the mistakes that they made, how badly lit the movie is. They're talking about
dark. It is dark.
Well, not even that. They're talking about the source lighting, unmotivated source lighting. And one of the moments I absolutely love is when they're out in that field, the freshly tilled field with all the mounds of dirt through it. They talk about how it's a poor choice to have the car with the headlights facing towards the camera, but then they're lighting the front sides of the little dirt mounds. So when you think about it, you're like, all the light would be coming from the back, from the headlights of the car. There's no way the fronts of the mounds would be lit. But that's just their inexperience. And I look at it like charm, because until Barry Sonnenfeld in this special feature points it out, I'm like, I didn't even really notice. I'm not tracking that the wrong side of somebody's face is lit based on where the lamp in the living room is actually placed. I'm just looking at going like, oh man, I absolutely love all of the neon colors in this movie. I love the gritty, independent nature of it. So I'm not thinking about all of these lighting choices until Barry Sonnenfeld points them out, and he's like, we would never do that again. Or another example they use is in that scene when Ray comes to Abby's apartment and he's kind of sitting in that chair talking to her. They talk about how, like, oh my God, the wall is the same color as his shirt. We would
it's awful. I noticed that too. That
it's like blue wall, blue shirt,
minty, whatever that minty blue.
He's basically like kind of a floating head.
Thing.
They're like,
floating head. Exactly.
We would never do that.
Brandon, there's hope for us yet. They made all these mistakes.
Exactly.
I feel like there's things
about this fantastic breakdown from them.
Is shot that bug me a little bit. I think there's some really great match cuts in this movie, like the one where I think Maurice goes to push a button on the answering machine and it
and then the finger in the blood.
It's awesome. It's a cool cross cut, but it's also like
Oh, on the back seat of the car. Yeah.
Like it's a cool match cut, but it doesn't really like do anything for the movie. Like I think of match cuts.
I think it's a cool shot.
It's cool. It is. But
it's a neat shot, but again, it shows me how stupid Ray is. Ray is just poking his finger, and what fingerprints? He just touches everything, and
he's a dummy.
God damn, Brandon is so right, dude. He's a dummy, Dylan. He's a dummy. He's the biggest dummy in any Coen Brothers movie.
Well, he does have
the original dummy
to a Coen Brothers dummy accent too, and that accent's a little bit.
Yeah. Now that I think, like, I am interpreting it differently because I do think he is a classic Coen Brothers dummy now.
No, you're right.
Maurice is an interesting character because I was thinking about it just as we were talking. There's a lot of inserts in this film. There's a lot of shots of Maurice's feet and Maurice's Converse shoes as he's getting over the bar. And to me, this movie has so many threads out to almost all the other Coen Brothers movies. Like there's clearly a thread from this to Fargo, from Fargo to No Country for Old Men. But also that character and the way he's shot makes me think of the Jesus in The Big Lebowski. Makes me think of the shots that are like, we're going to use visual, like small visual storytelling pieces. Nothing major, little moments where the actor we're giving the actor room to act and to build something. And it creates an indelible moment in this movie that is not quite at the level of the Jesus in The Big Lebowski, of course, but that character is important because he actually has fun things going on for him, not just the bar guy who talks to people, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Sam Art Williams, who plays Maurice in the film. Not a ton of acting credits after Blood Simple, but he goes on to be not only a writer, but a producer of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Whoa.
I believe 72 episodes of Fresh Prince he's a producer of. Here's an interesting thing. I'll talk about it now because we're talking about Maurice. In the original version of the movie, which I believe is probably the version that you guys saw, he goes and he puts a song on the jukebox, and it is a Four Tops song.
Yes, it is. Yes. And that's very important for the movie that we saw. Yes.
Now, in my original VHS release of Blood Simple, they didn't have the rights for home video release of that, so they had to change it to Neil Diamond's I'm a Believer.
Watching
when I saw her face,
watching the Texas,
not the Beatles,
the bar,
Neil Diamond.
Yes.
And when that song comes on, the Texas farmer at the bar who kind of does a little head shake and looks down is a way different take when it's not Four Tops. Like it's just it's very interesting.
So obviously,
so does it then repeat the Neil Diamond song at the closing credits?
Oh no!
Yes.
Wow. Of course it does. It would have to because it needs. Whoa.
Yeah. The other interesting thing about the home video release is it's technically different. The version that has been restored and has the Four Top song put back on it has actually been cut down a little bit by the Coens. They cut 3 minutes out of the movie just to tighten it up a little bit. And one of the scenes that they cut out is in this original VHS release. And it is when Maurice goes to select that song. In the version that you watched, he goes up. There's a guy at the jukebox. He says one line or something to that guy, puts on the song, walks back. There's that close-up of the Converse that Dylan had mentioned. In the VHS copy and the original theatrical version, he has a whole exchange with that guy where he talks about, like, I'm from Chicago. That's a big city. So I'm the big guy here. I get to put on the music, right? He's just kind of big dog in that guy at the jukebox.
Bravado. Yep.
Yes. And they completely cut all of that exchange out because they were like, it's completely unnecessary. That was just something we had, whether it was to, give it to that actor or just fill time or what they thought it was interesting at the time. But yeah, they completely cut out, what is ultimately maybe 10 seconds of film, but it's completely gone from the version that you guys watched.
Interesting. I do like everything about the pace of those scenes. I think actually the pace of the film is okay, really quite good for the first
I think
half
it's okay as well too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I could see that cleaning that up makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still taken with this. So his whole cleanup thing is happening to Neil Diamond. His whole nonsensical.
Yeah.
wiping the
No.
blood and all that
No,
is
no, no,
happening.
Because he
no.
does, because it happens 3 times, Brandon. It happens when he cleans
Yeah.
the blood, and it
Yep.
happens at the end of the movie, and
Yeah.
it happens
Okay.
in the bar. So either something else
It's
is
kind of the theme
now
of
I
the
need to
movie.
know.
I
Yeah.
didn't get all the way that far. I just wanted to double check that to see what version I had. So I'll go further and I'll see if it's over that scene too. But you're probably right because they couldn't get the rights for the song.
Wow.
Yeah. And Emmett Walsh.
Can't even imagine.
He is amazing.
He's the best, by the way. Love him in everything.
He is so good. I had
Even Wild Wild West.
Yes, exactly. Even Wild Wild West with Barry Sonnenfeld. Now, Emmett Walsh was an established actor before working on Blood Simple. He is the only actor that the Coen Brothers sort of wanted. They don't say specifically that they like wrote the part in mind with Emmett Walsh, but it was the actor that they were seeking out for this role. And part of that came from his performance in a Dustin Hoffman film from 1978 called Straight Time. Have either of you guys seen that film?
No.
Yeah, a long time ago.
I watched it last night. I had never seen it before. It is awesome. I cannot recommend it enough. It is.
Would you please remind me, because I don't remember a thing about it other than I didn't know it existed, and then I found it on like a Tubi or something and watched it.
So Straight Time is a film. Dustin Hoffman is released from prison after a 6-year sentence, and he has to come back out and adjust to the real world. Emmett Walsh plays his parole officer, and he essentially tries to get a job, tries to find a place to live, ends up sort of getting romantically involved with a woman, and Emmett Walsh kind of is making things hard for him as a hard-ass parole officer. Dustin Hoffman sort of goes and meets up with some of his old criminal buddies, and one of them is played by Harry Dean Stanton, who I absolutely love.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't really want to say anything else because it is well worth your time. I had never seen it before. It is a director who I'd never really heard of. And what is his name? Didn't make a lot of things that I'd even really known. Straight Time.
So you're telling me little known 70s film with good actors? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I'll watch
good actors, good costume, real grit. Yeah. It's classic. Yeah. Ulu Grossbard is the director. Didn't really know anything about him, but it's on the Criterion channel right now, Straight Time. I loved it. I watched it last night. I had such a great time. And Emmett Walsh is awesome in it. And I see what the Coen Brothers saw in that performance as this hard-ass parole officer, why they thought that he could play their private investigator, Visser, and be a total jerk, right, in this movie. So at this time, it kind of is like a perfect sort of storm, because Emmett Walsh was realizing that his agents at this time were saying no to projects on his behalf without showing him the scripts. He found this out and he said, "Do not say no on my behalf ever again. I want to read every single thing that comes across the desk." And just at that time, Blood Simple gets sent to Emmett Walsh, and he says, "What the heck? I'll go and do this film." Makes a deal with the Coen Brothers to pay him in cash by every weekly. And in fact, you can see in the movie, he has wads of cash on him because he didn't trust leaving it all in the hotel room. And so every week they would give him wads of $100 bills to pay him. And if you watch scenes like when he's on the telephone with Marty after he quote unquote did the job, you can see a big bulge in his pants, and that is the cash, that week's payment in cold hard cash in his pocket throughout the film. In fact,
I'm gonna take your word. I'm going to take your word for it. I don't want to go checking out Emmett Walsh's pants. Thank you.
Well, it's
looking for bulges. Looking for bulges in his pants.
Can we talk about? I know you're. Oh, sorry, Brandon. I don't want to interrupt if you've got more to say on his background because he's a very interesting actor. And I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
but there's a special guest in the film that plays the part with Emmett Walsh that I think is really important to how we see this character, and that's the little fly that's crawling all over him. The multiple flies crawling all over this guy.
Yeah, his co-star, and Emmett Walsh's co-star is the two flies.
It's like Pigpen.
Yeah,
I again was watching this with someone who'd never seen it before, and some of those things you wonder, maybe it's just the Blu-ray or the 4K that you think, or maybe they saw it, but sometimes you wonder, are they going to catch these things? And the person just like, ew, gross, look at that fly. I was like, what a successful like shot. That subtle thing is going on.
Happy accident.
It hits you, like not on a big screen, just it's very wild.
Well, and I mean it's the reality. Like everybody's sweaty, it's Texas. Flies are always they're going for your eyes for the moisture. That's what flies do.
I really love me a sweaty movie, and this is a sweaty movie.
Yes. So Emmett Walsh, the M stands for Michael, by the way.
I never knew that.
Emmett Walsh done a lot of work up until that point and continues to work. I mean, he's in The Jerk. He's the one who's shooting the oil cans in that famous.
He hates these cans. Stay away from the cans.
Small role
because he just
Blade
randomly
Runner.
wanted to murder someone, so he flips through the phone book.
Yes, classic. Blade Runner. Fletch. He's in Fletch. Harry and the Hendersons.
He's the doctor in Fletch, right? You're using the whole fist, Doc?
Yes. And then
Harry and the Hendersons, he's the dad. That's right.
Yes.
I forgot.
I was thinking of another Blade Runner connection to this movie earlier today, actually, and that's the hand punching through the wall.
Yeah.
Emmett Walsh's hand. I was like, oh, very Blade Runner. Interesting. Yeah.
Another really late performance, and I remember being in the theater and going, oh man, I'm so happy to see Emmett Walsh. He has a very small role in the first Knives Out movie, the Rian Johnson film.
Oh, yes, he does, and he's wonderful.
He plays like the groundskeeper security guy. He sits in front of all those TVs out in the garden, the garage house or whatever you'd call it. Yeah. A very old Emmett Walsh lived to the ripe old age of 88 years old and was basically acting right up until he passed away. He's in The Righteous Gemstones, the Danny McBride HBO show. He's in a couple episodes of that. But yeah, he's just a fantastic character actor. And he brings so much to this movie and to this role with his like yellow suit, his cowboy hat, his like weird Texas accent.
This feels like a Coen Brothers character from 1998 was teleported into this movie because I feel like he's so like fully formed in the way their movies work, and it's interesting to compare him to Steve Buscemi in Fargo or some of the other characters who have unusual looks and unusual kind of attitudes toward life because they all like this, even Anton Chigurh is an interesting character to kind of compare him to from No Country for Old Men.
Because
that is
again, a weird guy. Right?
A weird looking guy, a weird guy in the way he acts in the world, and who is
that Javier Bardem?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh Christ, where does he work? That scene, fucking kill me. Amazing. You're right. Creepy as fuck. Where does he work?
There's a scene in that movie where he's at the gas station, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be 50 cents," and he flips the coin, and he got the guy to call it. That is a very unusual Coen Brothers scene because it's so Coen Brothers, but it's all been elevated to this like really serious realm. Yeah, and I think that's so like you could easily put like Emmett Walsh and someone else in one of those roles to the same dialogue, and it would be a comedy.
It could have been him in that scene. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, interesting scene. That's the one that always sticks in my mind.
I throw Dan Hedaya in that same list, though, in that he felt fully formed as a character in this. I knew what he was. Yeah. I just, I got those two guys. They really, really delivered.
Also, what an amazing face, Dan Hedaya.
Oh, man.
And some actors who are just
Nick Tatelli.
I buy it all.
There's a really good extreme close up of him walking to go meet Emmett Walsh. And I know Barry Sonnenfeld talks in that, and I didn't watch all of it, but I watched some of that interview, Brandon, with Barry Sonnenfeld and the Coens. And he said specifically, oh man, I hate all these extreme close-ups. Like I love when we got away from that.
Yes.
But I love that extreme close-up of Dan Hedaya so much.
That might be the shot where they they didn't realize until after they had processed the film that they'd put the wrong lens on the camera.
And it's so close as the camera's moving and as he's walking. But
I can't remember if it is that shot, but they talk specifically about how they wanted a shot with a 25 millimeter lens, which is a wide shot, and they ended up putting on like an 85 millimeter lens, and they
not even close.
Yeah,
you don't confuse those two. That's weird. You don't confuse those. That's so bizarre.
Yeah,
but it is a great.
Oh, I thought you says you throw out all the fish. What's the fish sticks? I thought you said throw out all the food in the freezer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, summer rental. Yeah.
Thank you. That was piss poor. Thank you.
There's some really competent framing in this film for people who don't really know what they're doing, and I think it just helps that they were around. As Ethan said in one interview, he's like, "We never," because he was asked like, "So do you really look at 3-act structure?" And he's like, "Oh no,
we don't even know how to do it.
We don't even know how to do it. We just write stuff, and then we go, I guess it's kind of time to wrap it up." And then they do. But he said we probably have internalized these things, as most of us try and do. Like it's so hard to replicate something and do it with your mind. We have to do it with your heart, and I think this movie was successful for that reason, that it's hitting you in the gut. It's hitting you so hard in moments, not all the time, but in moments for sure.
You may have just isolated what it is about why I don't typically like Coen Brothers movies on the first viewing, because they don't fit the mold. I'm on a ride that I'm used to. You know, you mentioned 3-act structure. I'm used to that. My body's used to that. My perception's used to that. And it's not being delivered, so I don't know what's happening until the second time through, and then I start to enjoy it. That's wild. Thanks. I took a film teacher, film instructor to fucking make me see it.
And we certainly don't write feature-length scripts, but the more I look at scripts to kind of be as inspirations, I don't really gravitate to these scripts because they're too complicated. They're not really easy scripts to show students to go do what they did. Yeah. Because you can't do what they did unless you do it naturally. Yes. And I know that they are weird guys. I'm sure they are. Great guys, I'm sure. But also they have a weirdness about the way they approach their art that don't the best artists all have that weirdness.
We wouldn't like them, and they wouldn't be artists if they weren't weird.
And famously, they write linearly. So they will just start writing the script and seeing what happens in chronological order. And if they come up against a wall, they kind of famously like put things away until an idea could be weeks, months, years later. Famously, in the middle of writing Miller's Crossing, their third film, they came up to a wall, didn't know what to do, and then had an idea for the next movie about a Hollywood writer going to a New York theater writer going to Hollywood, and they wrote the entirety of Barton Fink about writer's block in the middle of having writer's block for Miller's Crossing, and then ended up finishing Miller's Crossing, making that one, and then following up with Barton Fink. But they will just write until they don't have a clear idea, and then they'll just work on something else and then come back to that project. But they mostly write in chronological order, linearly their screenplays.
Now, we haven't really talked about their solo efforts, but I do think it's interesting.
Yeah, that will come late. That'll come later.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, good.
Dan Hedaya, we have sort of mentioned. I know his face from Mulholland Drive. He's one of the executives in David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. We've seen him already on this show this year. Commando, Usual Suspects, Clueless.
Cheers for most people, right?
So he gets Cheers kind of right after this, I believe.
Not before?
No, I believe it's
right
around
the same time. He was established on
time.
Cheers in the first season, second season, maybe not.
But again, remember they shot this movie in 1982, right?
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, and Cheers came in 82. You're right, of course. Yeah.
He is the dad from Clueless. Alicia Silverstone's dad in Clueless.
He's also the dad in Night at the Roxbury.
Yes, that was.
I'm sorry. I'll let you do it, Brandon.
No. It's okay. It's all good. I'm glad you're here to help. Rookie of the Year, a film I love, a Daniel Stern directed, from actor to director. Rookie of the Year. We've talked a lot about him. He's great. Great face.
Dick. We skipped Dick. Here I'm coming in. Dick. He plays Dick in Dick.
Yes,
Richard
yes,
Nixon.
He is Richard Nixon, the titular Dick in Dick.
I realize that may not be a big movie in Canada, but it's a funny one here.
I know of it. I've never seen it, but I know.
Oh my gosh! Well, it's a funny telling about the true story of Watergate.
And he plays Richard Nixon, right?
Yeah, but it's not really. It's a comedy. It's Kirsten Dunst and Michelle Williams as like his dog walkers or something. It's it's actually very, very cute. Highly recommend.
I will look into it. I definitely
it's a
want to see that.
fun movie.
And John Getz, who we've sort of talked about, plays Ray.
He works a lot. He's been in everything ever.
Recently, he's in Man on the Inside on Netflix with Ted Danson. Curly Sue, he's in. He's in both of the Fly movies.
Wait. In The Fly? Who's he in The Fly?
He plays a doctor in both movies. He plays the same.
I saw that credit too.
He plays the same doctor. He's in Zodiac and Social Network, so he's worked with David Fincher.
Oh man! Wow.
Yeah, but he's
in every TV show I grew up with in the 80s and 90s. He
Exactly.
did episodes on every single one.
Yes.
But he doesn't have that accent all the time, does he?
No, and he doesn't look like that. He doesn't look like that at all.
I'll finish the job, Abby.
I feel like he's got this face that just slides away from the frame, right? He doesn't have like a Dan Hedaya or a Steve Buscemi for sure, but he's not even like he's not necessarily like I don't know, maybe he's a classic leading man. He just doesn't like.
No, he's not. He's a character actor. I couldn't believe he was the lead guy in this. He's never the leading guy in anything ever.
Strange.
I forgot to mention. So when Emmett Walsh came to Texas, was the first time the Coen brothers had met him, and it was also the first sort of professional film actor they had ever met, and they had no idea how to talk to actors. It's a thing that they are aware that they just didn't know how to communicate to actors for their first feature film. And one of the first conversations they had with Emmett Walsh is he pitched them on this accent he had been working on, and it was completely unintelligible. And they panicked because they were so nervous about telling a professional actor, like, that's a bad choice. Like, that
was he fucking
work.
with them?
It doesn't seem like he was.
Oh my gosh!
But that's not the accent that he.
No.
Sometimes that one's a little bit close to unintelligible.
But
in a good way.
Yeah. Apparently it was something much wilder that he was planning on doing for this character. And they're like, it's that won't work. But they were so panicked, like, oh my God, how do we tell Emmett Walsh that that's not what we want? And I love his vocal choices in this movie. The film opens up with a weird little monologue from him. I love the scene when him and Dana Hedaya are sitting in the car, and he has like well, if it pays good, it's legal, I'll do it. Just that I just absolutely love. Well, if it pays good, it just tickles me.
It's true. There's a lot of don't give a shit energy in that performance, which is really helpful to this film because there's a lot of it really needs this character who's just living their life. But I think it's interesting. You mentioned the opening. I don't know if you're going to touch on this, but the opening wasn't in the script at all. And that monologue was not there. They wrote this later, and they sent Barry Sonnenfeld off to shoot on bad quality stock, which is why it's so grainy. This opening, but that opening is basically the opening of No Country for Old Men, like 40 years later.
Interesting.
Right? 30 years
you're
later.
right.
So that's an interesting connection to see, again, threads from this movie to almost all of their movies of things that they continued to work on or build off of. But I think that's fascinating that they recognized later, this guy's the most important character in the movie to tell this story. So we need to get him to tell the opening, which is interesting. I don't know that I would have made that same choice. It's interesting.
Yeah. I had like from that very first shot of this tire scrap on the road, I was like, this is a classic Coen Brothers shot to me. This is what they do.
It felt very David Lynch to me. It felt very the whole beginning felt very David Lynch to me. And I only know that because you've gotten me more into David Lynch lately.
Well, the driving shots are very Lynch to me. Like that's so Lost Highway.
Lost Highway.
Yeah. Their actual inspiration for a lot of the driving shots was Mad Max. Well, I guess Mad Max 2 Road Warrior had just come out. And they tell a story on how they had a Laserdisc copy of the Road Warrior in Texas, wherever they were shooting, and they would watch it frame by frame to figure out how to get the driving shots to look the way that they do. And so they're trying to replicate George Miller's driving coverage.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
By basically strapping a board to the front of the car, if I'm not
or
mistaken.
Barry Sonnenfeld.
Yeah.
There are shots where Ray is literally driving, and it is Barry Sonnenfeld sitting on the hood of the car, holding the camera as Ray's driving around.
Wow.
Crazy.
Meanwhile, the director's in a tent with a chair and somebody feeding them grapes and a fan, and he goes, "Fuck this! I'm in the wrong line of work."
Yeah. Well, that's later in the Coen Brothers' career, but I imagine they were next to the car on this particular film. Later,
of course, I'm joking about why he would transition to being a director.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. We can run it back. I'll cut this part out. We could do that joke again.
Oh, I don't think it's worth it. I would let me stew in it. It's fine. That's basically our cast. We already did shout out Maurice. He's the only other person that kind of has a bit more of a prominent role. There's only a couple of faces. That woman wouldn't even call it prominent, right? There's like 4 people and then Maurice.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Now, there is Holly Hunter does make a cameo appearance in this film. She is the first voice on the answering machine. On Maurice's answering machine.
No way.
The first call is Holly Hunter leaving a message, and then he skips it to hear Dan Hedaya's message. Now, this is a thing that when I watched the movie initially the first time, it didn't click with me. And it wasn't until I was kind of going through the movie the second time, jotting down all the plot points, that it clicked. When Dan Hedaya is talking to Emmett Walsh and he says, "I've made a call." I was thinking, oh, he's made a call to get the money. But what he's doing is he has left town, he's come back, and he's called Maurice and left an answer on his answering machine saying, "Hey, somebody stole all $10,000 from the safe." That is the money that he is paying Emmett Walsh, and he's establishing, covering his ass by saying $10,000 has been stolen. That didn't occur to me when I watched it the first time this week.
I got that the first time, but for me, it seemed more like he wasn't telling Emmett Walsh that that's what he did. We found that out later. I think he was just saying, "I made a call, I got the money, don't worry about it, it's not your problem." Okay. But they definitely showed it to us, yeah.
Yes, but I missed that the first time. And
Gotcha.
I didn't understand what that was, but it wasn't until upon my second viewing that I was
because the moment later, Maurice is over in his face being like, "What the hell? You took the money. I told you, blah, 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 blah." And it's like, no,
that's an important.
You got this all wrong, Maurice.
Important plot point to bury in an answering machine, but I do think that connects to some of the Coen themes that are so important in their career, which is bad people being untrustworthy to each other. They're like, "Trust me, I figured it out," and they did not figure it out, and that made me think of Fargo. Watching that time,
they all fuck each other over.
There's so many ways that these bad people are not reliable partners, and it's interesting that that's a thread that connects to so much of their work from this movie onwards.
Yeah, maybe the Coen Brothers are not good people.
I think the Coen Brothers are good people. I just think they maybe know a lot of bad people. They're able to pull the
that makes more sense.
Good observers of bad people. The Coen Brothers.
Yes. Wow.
I think being an observer of humans is so important for making this art that makes us feel like, whoa, am I watching a real person here? Because I will admit, like Emmett Walsh, they try their best to make him a literal bug in this movie.
That's why they chose him. They chose a Volkswagen Beetle for him to drive, because he's a literal cockroach in their mind. He drives a bug.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
But
I didn't realize that.
He kind of feels the most human. Him and Dan Hedaya, anyways, the most lived in and the most like someone who I would really meet and go, let me go the other way. I do not want to spend any time with this guy. But we've all met people like that, right?
Yeah. And I think that is just what level they're at as writers. Because I think I totally agree with you. I think Emmett Walsh is the best written character in this movie outside of what he brings to his performance. I think he's one of the most interesting characters. And I look at even Abby and Ray, they're very, very flat. They don't really have a ton to do, right? Abby is quite literally just a mistress and a wife. Like through the film, she's confused throughout the whole movie, right? There's not a whole lot else for her to do.
I think that's an interesting question of whose movie it is, because I do think that towards the end I have an inkling that they tried to hand the movie over to her, and it does kind of work, but it doesn't work the way that a film that you covered earlier this year in To Live and Die in LA. There's a very clear handoff of our main character is no longer our main character, and I think there's a point in this movie in the back half where I'm like, are we supposed to care about Ray? Because I don't.
Yeah.
No way.
I feel that too.
Not from moment one.
Yeah.
And then he dies, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, that was the best part.
But then Abby suddenly switches, right? And suddenly that his death gives her the chance to suddenly change and have the protagonist growth to like, I'm going to defend myself. But it's
I don't think she got the gravity of it until that moment, right?
No.
And
that's true.
Ultimately, Emmett Walsh opens up this movie with the monologue, and he's the last thing we hear with him laughing underneath the sink, right? Maybe this is actually his movie, and it's just our sort of like our Hollywood brain that has seen so many movies that we think, oh, it's a final girl. It's all of a sudden the heroine. She's she's come to save, but ultimately this movie is an Emmett Walsh movie. It's his character's movie.
I agree. It's just he's not in it enough. I want him in it more than.
But he's driving everything. Right?
Sorry, Dylan.
No, it's fine. No, you're right. Like, you're right. I agree with you, Jay. He's not in it enough. And that's why I think they wrote him the intro, because they're like, this guy maybe we do need to try and bookend him.
He's our anchor. We didn't realize. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a thing you may not, if you're going to write linearly and not, structurally, that's a thing you might not realize till later.
I wonder if you ever rewrote this film, like if the Coens would take this film and rewrite it today, like what would Emmett Walsh's journey be? Would we start before the movie? Would we have more time with him in the middle of the movie when he disappears? Because I think he would disappear completely if he hadn't lost his lighter. If he hadn't lost his lighter, we would never see him again, right? It's
the truth is, I don't. Oh, go ahead.
I think he only comes back, and it's a little throwaway line, but he only comes back because he thinks Ray has the lighter. Ray
and
or
the photo.
Right. And the photo.
Ray has switched out the photo with the employees must wash hands sign. Yes.
That's right.
So it's two motivations.
So I think but it's this stuff that he's gone to the bar. We know he's gone to the bar and tried to break in, but it's weird. It does feel a little bit weird that he goes after Ray and Abby, except that we need him to. We need him to go after them.
I agree. When it's all of a sudden he's got his sniper rifle and like Ray's in his crosshairs, which is like, I'm like, oh, what the heck? He's really elevated these crimes. Like, I know that he already committed a murder, and in his mind he killed Dan Hedaya, but
the whole point of killing Dan Hedaya with Abby's gun is so that he has no connection to the crime, and now he's bringing his own rifle.
It's going to be framed on Abby, and he can, unless he thinks that there's more money, right? Because he's trying to get into the safe.
I do think that this film has moments where, and it's sort of like the match cut thing where there's cute moments where I'm like, oh, that was really fun. That was cool. And there's moments of this movie when the Coen Brothers are clearly saying, hey, this is our calling card, just like the trailer was, right? Like, now watch this movie. Don't you want to hire us to make another movie? And then it's like from there on in, they are themselves. They don't
Yeah.
have the pressure of making something that someone else would like. But maybe some of these moments are for them. Like, okay, let's make a big shootout at the end because it has to have that moment.
Yeah.
And damn the story because it's a fun movie and we're just going to end it in a bit of a bloodbath, and then that's all, right?
I like the visual and the suspense of that. How they were all coming in different angles. It was beautiful. It was like I liked it. I liked it. I liked everything about that ending actually, with the window and the hand and everything. That was
Such a cool visual.
so creative.
Doesn't make any sense realistically. That's not how light operates. But that's the beauty of film, right? It looks so cool on screen that you're like, it doesn't matter.
That light shining through the bullet holes in different ways is present in their trailer to get support, to get fundraising.
Yes.
And that is interesting that they recognized from an early moment that visual was going to be it's cool, right? Yeah. And I do think that there's moments in this movie where they're telling the story visually, but there's a little bit more style than substance. And that's okay. But it's a little bit like, whereas later in the film, I think it's much more in service of the story. Or later in their career, there's a lot more in the service of the story.
I love that sequence so much, from M. Emmett Walsh reaching across to getting his hand slammed, Abby stabbing his hand, the scream from M. Emmett Walsh,
the window breaking. For me, the window breaking when his head hits it,
punching through the wall, all of that stuff. I'm just like, this is movies, baby. I'm in. I love it.
Yeah. And then there's also like really interesting little moments where you go, another lesser filmmaker wouldn't think to do this. Like the dust coming up out of the carpet when Ray is walking towards
not a practical
the office.
A high light source so low coming through the slit of the door to illuminate that dust. It's not like real, but it looks cool.
And maybe that's Barry Sonnenfeld, and maybe it's the Coens, but there's clearly some like creativity going on here
100%.
that is unhindered by their experience. And I think that's so important for early filmmaking from these two.
And even you had mentioned it earlier, but that shot of Frances McDormand in front of the safe and then falling back into bed, that's a practical shot that they filmed on the location of the bar in front of that safe. They had built a whole rig. So they put the bed on the ground with her pillow in that space, and they built a whole rig that flips the camera as Frances McDormand is flipping down onto the bed. It's just cool. Right?
It is
it's cool.
It is
practical, independent filmmaking.
Well, and I think they understand in camera movement in particular the way that camera movement affects you. Like when you do a fast push in to a character, that gets your blood pumping, and it's really fun to see them. You understand the mechanisms, because like you can't teach this stuff. I can try and teach my students as much as I want, but unless you just start to experiment and feel the film as you're making it, you never really learn how this stuff works. So I think it's really cool to see this movie all the way through. It feels like they're at the same level of proficiency, and then they just level up after this movie.
One of the people that they keep shouting out is their key grip. Now, we haven't talked a lot about key grips on these movies because not a lot of people talk about them, but the Coen Brothers specifically cite their key grip. Tom Profit Jr. He's credited on Blood Simple. He was a longtime Hollywood grip, worked on Silent Movie, the Mel Brooks movie I talked about a couple episodes ago, Modern Problems, lots of other, real studio films. Kind of got burnt out with the studio system and moved to Texas and was working as a drywaller or at like a sheet, like making drywall in Texas.
Wow.
Now, they get word that there is a old Hollywood key grip guy in Texas where they're shooting the movie, and they ask him to come aboard and help on the project. And he was kind of, feeling like he had, left so much behind. He wanted to get back into it. So he comes and works on Blood Simple, and he's the one who helps them build all of these rigs to make the cool shot of Frances McDormand falling in the bed, builds them a custom crane so they can get that crane shot of the car, of Ray in the car driving after cleaning up the blood and throwing his windbreaker in the dumpster fire. He was pivotal for the Coen Brothers because they would have these ideas, but because of his experience in Hollywood and on real film sets, he was able to achieve their vision by building these rigs and setups for him and Barry Sonnenfeld to achieve their vision. So they give a big shout out to Tom Profit for this film.
It's almost as though he knew it was coming.
Well,
yeah, yes.
Hey, I do think that there are so many unsung heroes in many of these films. In any film, who is the one who made it happen that is buried below the line? Really cool for them to actually talk about someone who made a difference in their career, first of all.
Yeah.
But also just a reminder that, wow, what an experience that I'm sure every young filmmaker goes to LA and there's someone who's mentoring the, well, wait, no, probably they don't. Probably that's a pretty lucky thing to have someone like that, right? The little things that go right for filmmakers, for anyone who's making art, but especially in this most collaborative art form. If you don't have the people who you trust, you're just not making a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Very cool.
I want to call out a couple of, I love those establishing shots of the window in Ray's house, right? We first see, like Frances McDormand,
Oh, the arch? You mean the big arch windows?
Well, just his bedroom window that we see a couple of times because, she comes into the bedroom, she's getting into bed with Ray. And then when she leaves the frame, we focus on the street outside of the window, right? And then it transitions to the morning shot. All of that is a setup for later in the film when we do a match cut and a matching shot to that window again. And when Frances McDormand leaves the frame, Emmett Walsh in the bug is out on the street. Those are things that I just love in movies because it just shows like such a pre-planning, right? Like you have to have that shot in mind. The reason I bring that up is this film was so heavily storyboarded because the Coens knew that they had very little money and very little time ultimately to make this quote unquote real movie. So every shot in the movie is storyboarded. And they talk about how it doesn't mean that they were fully sticking to what they had, but they wanted to make sure that they came to set every single day with a plan.
You have to make the movie in your mind. You have to have that, right? And I feel like as someone who looks at a lot of bad scripts and storyboards, and a lot of good ones too, but sometimes ones that are less than fully formed, it's the ones where I suddenly see the movie in my mind as I'm looking at the storyboard, and I'm like, oh yes, okay, go film this movie. This is here. And it's interesting how, yes, like you said, you don't stick to it necessarily, but their preparation, and I mean, I don't know, Spielberg is the exact opposite as an example, right? I mean,
yes, exactly the opposite. Yeah,
Raiders of the Lost Ark is such a great counterpoint to this movie, but it's not his first film, but it's interesting to see how those two sides, those two kinds of filmmakers have to coexist and have to do their own thing.
Yeah, if people don't know, the way Steven Spielberg makes a movie is I'm sure he storyboards heavily VFX, visual effects sequences, but for the most part, when he comes to set, he maybe has a shot list or he has some things in mind, but he doesn't necessarily have storyboards. He just kind of finds the first shot. And after he finds the first shot, intuitively the next shot comes to him, and he kind of just sees it in his mind on set and figuring out as it happens around him. Whereas, as we're saying, the Coen brothers came to set with a binder full of storyboards that had what the frame will see and a bird's eye view of where the camera will be, where the actors will be, all the notes and everything. This big binder, all pre-planned for this particular film.
Well, how do you get a crew to go along with you if you're nobody, right? Here, this is what we're doing today, right? At least Spielberg had his name from pretty early on.
True.
You're nobody. You have to rely on that. Yeah.
The one thing they talk about with the storyboards too is they were so embarrassed all the time to show them to Frances McDormand because the storyboard artist kept drawing Abby nude. And so and so it was her first movie, and she was like, she had to have a talk with them being like, what, like these sex scenes, am I actually nude? Am I going to have to be topless? And they're like, no, we're not doing that. The storyboard artist just drew the character topless. We are not doing that.
the advantage of being like a Ridley Scott and being your own storyboard artist is that you can say like, this is the frame the way I see it in my mind. And it's hard when you're a director and you can't do that, right? Like you have to rely on somebody.
James Cameron sometimes too. Even if you can do stick figures, if you can just show where you want the camera and what, just a little bit, somebody else can make it good later.
Yeah.
Just show your intentions. Like you said, you have to build it in your head first. Even if the stick figures showed me that you have thought about it and you know what to do.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting to see the preparation that I think is essential for any film, but to make a good first movie, be prepared.
Yeah. There's a couple other things I want to shout out. When Ray is burying Marty and there's all those billboards in the farmer's field, all those red billboards.
Felt like foreshadowing to her next, 30 years later when she wins the Oscar for that movie.
Yeah.
They're lit up the same way and they're red and it's crazy.
Those billboards were advertising somebody who invested in the movie. That was what they got out of their investment.
Awesome.
They made a larger investment and they got to have their billboards in the movie.
That's genius.
Wow.
There is so many pickup shots in this film that are just the Coen brothers themselves. Lots of like feet or close-ups of inanimate objects and things. That's all just pickup shots that they got when they could, and it's just somebody who is available to walk or hold the shovel. And one of the pickup shots is after Marty is fully buried and you can still see the ground moving. That's not Dan Hedaya buried. That is Ethan Coen.
Whoa.
They buried him, and he tells a funny story about how he was buried completely, getting the shots of them of the earth moving, his chest rising and falling. And then Joel yells through the dirt, "Okay, stop moving. We're going to get some footage of it not moving." And Ethan yells back, "Well, if it's not moving, why do I have to be down here?" And so
I'm with him.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
And then they laugh about it, that Joel was reluctant because it meant that they had to like unbury him and then put all the dirt back in the hole.
Have it
Whereas
match,
they could have just got the shot if he would have just stayed in the hole, not moving. But all of that like indie filmmaking, early stuff, like you just got to do it. You got to bury your brother sometimes, to make the film good. And
stuff that you don't know to say, this is not a good idea. When someone's like, I'm just going to bury you now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It'll be safe. There's 3 of us here.
Yeah.
I'm looking. Oh, Jay, at the very beginning of the movie, did you notice maybe a continuity error? I thought maybe you might have picked it up, being a car person. Did anything stick out to you at the very beginning of the movie?
The beetle, we opened with the beetle, and all I could think of was Big Lebowski, how the PI has a beetle in that too. And I thought that was a connection with the Coen brothers. I didn't put together the bug thing that you were talking about before and how he's a cockroach and all that.
But
I don't know. Is it the beetle related?
No, it's
gotta
actually
be...
it's Ray's car.
Oh, then I don't remember.
So the opening shot is shot from behind. It's through the windshield of Ray and Abby driving in the car. They're having a little conversation about how they're establishing the gun, this gun with the pearl handle. And then, it's...
What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Yeah, we're getting the sense that, okay, these characters are having an affair. And then Abby thinks that they're being followed. And there is 2 shots. There is a shot of the front of the car kind of stopping, and then there's the shot of the back of the car which shows the VW Bug. It's 2 completely different cars. The shot of the car pulling in and sort of stopping and jiggling is a Volvo. It's a completely different rounded front end headlights. It's just kind of the same color as Ray's car. And then when it cuts to the reverse of showing the Bug, and you see the back of the car, it is a completely different car. It's the car that we see throughout the rest of the film.
The American, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow, that's funny.
That very quick shot at the beginning of the film is a completely different type of car, has weird, different headlights that would not be on that style of car.
I didn't notice. I was looking at the bug, I guess, in that moment. That's funny.
I didn't notice either. It was only pointed out by the Coens.
Funny.
It's interesting, that continuity stuff. Well, part of it is it's dark, but it is interesting that, as you said, the bug catches your attention so much that you're really drawn to that car the moment you see it.
Yeah.
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 It's just the
Well, and
personality of a Beetle. And again, the cinematography, the way they have it lit and shot is fantastic.
Is there some significance to these two Jewish filmmakers being like, yeah, the bad guy drives a bug who is designed by Hitler?
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, it's funny.
Commissioned by Hitler, designed by somebody else. Commissioned by Hitler.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Put it. I thought you.
Very Porsche.
Yeah.
The people's car.
The vomiting sound effects are actually Barry Sonnenfeld, them recording Barry Sonnenfeld puking, because he talks about how he was such an easy puker that even watching Dan Hedaya fake vomit set him off, and he started puking.
The vomit sounds are amazing.
They recorded him puking.
They're good.
There's the gurgle of the bile and everything when he's just constantly sick. He's dealing with something even before he gets shot, and then after he gets shot. Holy shit, it's gross. Very, very visceral.
Is there anything else from the plot of the film that we haven't hit? Ultimately, like it's a comedy of errors, a miscommunication. Ray thinks Abby killed him. Abby has no idea that Marty is dead throughout the course of the film. Ray thinks he's doing a big romantic gesture and covering for Abby and taking care of Marty. And Visser, Emmett Walsh's character, is trying to clean up his own mess throughout the course of the film by committing more murders. So it's
and he's a double crosser already. We already know that. He's crooked.
Well, and I think, and the reason he decides to kill Marty is because he realizes that it'll be easier than.
Oh, you think? Oh, that didn't occur to me. No, but he already didn't kill the two.
Yeah, but I think he killed Marty because
he knew the money was there, and he doesn't trust him to keep his mouth shut.
Doesn't trust him. That's what I thought.
He says to Marty, like, you're so stupid for coming up with this plan, because of course they're going to suspect the husband, and then they're going to get to me. But if I kill you and make it look like her, then now it's just the wife killing the husband.
Exactly.
Now I'm clean.
It stops there, and I know you have money in that safe, right?
You know, it was an interesting moment, Brandon, that it's not exactly plot, but it was emphasized, was the moment when Ray finishes burying Marty and gets back in the car, and we go up to the high shot where we see that he's just driven this huge track into this farmer's field.
Yeah.
Where you're gonna
and there's a house right there. Yeah.
So dumb, right? But then he tries to start the car and it doesn't start right away. And I just remember thinking this time, even though I knew it didn't happen, I just remember thinking, oh no, is the car going to be stuck here? And it's just so funny. Like, you could have really emphasized, I think they do emphasize it, but just the tension that they're ratcheting up there, the Coens, of like, isn't this dumb? What could make it even worse? Let's play with that a little bit more.
And I feel like that is their twisted sense of humor. Is I think that they think that's so funny that you do all of this and then your car doesn't start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, they didn't fully commit to that idea, but I think that is something that the Coens would definitely do.
There's something that happens a couple of times in the movie, which is that people drive by Ray's house and they try and drive away, and then Ray makes the comment about
dead end. Yeah,
and it's just like the second time it hits, I'm like, yeah, Ray is a dead end. This whole film is heading towards dead ends.
Interesting.
For these people.
It does feel like a dead end.
It does. It is interesting that it's like, again, you talked about payoff, Brandon. Like, they're really setting things up and hitting them a couple of times to just plant them in your mind. So that one hit me this time when I watched it.
You know, when Ray, the dumpster fire, and he throws the thing in the dumpster fire, why doesn't he just throw the fucking body in the dumpster?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are we doing? Why even drive into the field? I thought a way to get rid of the body. What a genius thing. Oh, he's going to incinerate it. Nope. Fucking Thelma and Louise.
You really don't like that movie.
I want to like it so badly because there's so much good in it, but the problem is the whole movie exists because it's these women making bad decisions, not killing the guy. I understand why they killed the guy. That makes perfect sense. But Harvey Keitel was trying to help them out of it. I only saw it like not too long ago. It's fresh in my mind. Whatever. It bums me out. They didn't need to die. They didn't need to jump off the cliff. They could have. It all could have worked out. I feel like this thing too. Ray. Oh, damn it, Ray.
There's one other plot point that I think is interesting, which is Emmett Walsh is the one who, like, he shoots Ray, but he comes into the apartment and he bonks him. He kills him with this fish bonker.
Oh yeah,
remember he's got the fish club that he just
it's a piggy bank.
Him. Yeah. Okay. So it's
bank.
not. It looked like a fish head or something.
I
weird,
think it's a walrus piggy bank.
So he clubs him.
Oh,
to
that's
death,
funny.
And I'm like, oh, interesting. And then it's so inhuman the way he's treating him. And later on when he's under the sink, I just remember thinking he's like a roach. He's sitting under the bathroom sink now. He's dead and he's lying under the sink. What an interesting, like, maybe some of it is a bit on the nose, like the really hitting the bug stuff and really hitting some of this, but I do think it really
it
works.
took you guys telling me for me to get it. I didn't get it.
Well, it's good. And I think it works because I do think it's quite fun.
I like that because I didn't read that, but you saying that, he's a bug under the sink. Because I don't even know if I really had a read on what the significance of the drop, his point of view of the drop. Do you have a read?
Well, I just am really curious. There's point of views, there's subjective camera angles for a lot of characters in this movie. They all get these moments where they are looking through the camera. And I think that might be like an amateur, like a more amateur filmmaker thing where they just can't choose whose movie it is. The moment that I think of when I think of that is there's a great shot in Raising Arizona when John Goodman and the other guy break out of prison, Shawshank style, and they get to H.I.'s house. And Holly Hunter comes around the corner to be like, who's in my house? And the camera, it switches to her view of coming around the corner to see them. And it's such this deft moment of like, we're giving Holly Hunter a moment where you are in her shoes. And it feels really important because the movie is about her and High so much. But in this movie, they can't really decide. It's Emmett Walsh's moment. Sometimes we get Frances McDormand's moment. It's just kind of funny that we get that.
Every time they did it, it felt so jarring. It felt like they were introducing another character that wasn't one of the ones I already know. I was like, whose perspective is this now? Is it going to be somebody else?
You're right. It's interesting. Yeah. Anyway, the water drop it is weird. I don't know.
I just don't know. I don't know. That's why I like your read on he's a bug under the sink. I think that's an interesting way to think about it because that being the last shot of the film, I don't even really know what it's supposed to be telling me or what they're trying to communicate to me.
My only immediate thing is it doesn't really make that much sense because it's not like the water droplet's going to kill him or anything, but it does feel like something random just dropping on him, right? Like kind of like
the insignificance of like this is where he dies, right? Yeah. Looking at the underside of a sink with a drip, like that's how unsignificant he is as an individual, right?
But he's also killed by chance. Like if he opened the door and said, "Hey, it's me," would Abby shoot him, or would she go, "Oh, wait, who are you?" Like
I think she still would have. I think she still would have shot him.
Yeah, maybe you're right. He is clearly the one who's coming after.
He killed Ray. Yeah, he's attacking her.
You guys really think she? Yeah, you don't think she knew it was somebody else?
That last line is a little bit thwarting, isn't it?
I think the intention
because to me it was
she's haunted by Marty. Whether it's through the visions of the nightmare, she thinks that Marty keeps coming back because Ray says he wasn't dead.
But this guy is an extension of Marty. He is the killer that whether she knows this or not, he is the killer that Marty paid to kill her. So he is an extension of Marty here as a tool to murder her. So she is afraid of him legitimately. That. I don't know, and you're right. It wasn't exposed.
And she never sees him. The closest she gets to seeing him is at the very beginning of the movie. She spots him in the bug. So she only sees his hand, and that could, in her mind, that could easily be Marty's hand reaching through the window.
It's possible that the film that they were unclear even filming it, whether Emmett Walsh was laughing because he thinks that he was mistaken identity, if he's just laughing because the cosmic joke.
That's it. It's the irony of the whole thing. It's the cosmic joke. It's you just killed me. I'm on my way to go see Marty soon. I'll tell him your message.
Yeah. And And I think it's maybe just there's a little moment there where it's unclear what we're being told, and I think that's again just it's just
you're right. It's up to interpretation.
It's an imperfect film, and I think that a lot of the things that are imperfect are not necessarily flaws. They're just they're there and they're
ambiguous.
They're ambiguous. Yeah,
a lack of
ambiguous
experience that leads to ambiguity.
Or an intention that just didn't maybe necessarily land with me. That's kind of maybe why I brought it up, because I thought I might have missed something.
And I do think that there is some moments in the film that, show them as novice filmmakers. And I think it's even just like the coverage of when Ray kicks the gun. I had to rewind
when it goes off.
Yes,
when it goes off. Like, yeah, I know. It was terrible.
What just happened? I had to go back to, he's kicking the gun across the floor and it's going off. It just was the way that particular moment was covered was confusing to me.
And can I say that seems like a thing that someone would do, be like, hey, what if he kicks it and the gun goes off? And I don't think that's really how it would work, but maybe I don't know.
Certain guns, you pull back the hammer.
And
that's
true.
Maybe if
it was already cocked, then yes.
And kicked it a certain way, you could potentially set it off.
So it is interesting. To me, there's a few things that feel like cool movie things that don't totally make as much sense, but
there were a number of those. Yes.
But in defense of cool movie things, I like seeing them, right? So it's really interesting, and that's why back to the very beginning of this episode, that's why I say it's one of the most important, because it leads to the rest of their career. The success of this film being a finished film, being a competent film, being a film that people did enjoy, leads us to Raising Arizona and Miller's Crossing and Barton Fink and Big Lebowski and Fargo. Like, they grow so exponentially until the mid 2000s, when people that's the Man Who Wasn't There, Intolerable Cruelty, and Lady Killers. That's when people lost faith in the Coen brothers. They kind of had 3 bombs in a row, and then they come back 2007 and they win Best Picture, Best Director for No Country for Old Men. So the growth. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to. I always think you're done. I don't know why. It doesn't. I'd like to defend The Man Who Wasn't There. That's actually, I think, a very decent movie, but there was no way it was going to do any good on the heels of No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
No, the other one. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? That one came out right before.
I really need to
watch that. And it was like, that was
movie.
such a huge fucking, this is what these movies are about. And then they did this small, almost art kind of movie again.
Yes.
Yeah. It's black and white. It's very small. I think you'd love it, Brandon.
Yeah.
I have to see those 3 movies, and I have to watch Buster Scruggs as well. Like, I have to complete the filmography.
That one I don't know, yeah.
And I will.
Buster Scruggs is a funny one, a worthwhile watch, but I will say that my first watch for it. Anyways, I'm curious. We'll have to talk about it.
I'm going to add that one too. Buster Scruggs.
It's on Netflix.
Another one I didn't know.
A Netflix original.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much hit all the main parts of the plot.
This movie felt like a short story to me that was extended with a screenplay and then made into a movie. It felt like, if this was a short story, the weave of like Telltale Heart, or that one where the husband and the wife are poor, but they get rid of their own things to buy the gift for the other one. I can't remember what that one's called.
Gift of the Magi.
That's it. Gift of the Magi. Yeah. Oh, bless you. There's these kind of beautiful weaving stories that I feel like this was an attempt at. The way the misunderstanding, the weave of it all. This one kills this one, kills this one, kills this one. But it just felt like, it's a 90-minute version, and maybe I would have liked to have seen a 70-minute version.
As a Canadian, it's interesting because they make such good American fables, and I think this is just starting to play in that of like, it's about Texas, but it's not like, apparently they didn't really, I'm trying to remember if they didn't like it in Texas or not, but either, I don't know that they would, but it's interesting to see them.
It's not a love letter to Texas or anything.
No, but it's interesting to see them play with so much Americana, and like, we're going to take places in America that are pretty unusual, or times that are pretty unusual or specific, and make films about these things. It's interesting as a Canadian.
Go live in that world. You're right.
Yeah, even David Cronenberg is not really making movies about British Columbia. Maybe some of his early films are about Toronto, maybe, but we don't really have movies that are regional films about Canada in the same way that the Coen Brothers are making these films about places in the States. And that's interesting.
With the exception of a movie that I keep talking about on this show, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
Yeah,
is
I do need to see that.
One of
Me
our
too. Me
most
too.
important Canadian exports, and that is definitely a Canadian film about a Canadian city, about Canadians making it happen in Toronto.
Okay, I need to put that on the list. Thank you,
I
Brandon.
cannot recommend it high enough to anybody. It is so much fun. I absolutely love it. But you're right, Dylan. Like, it's not something that.
Oh, it's $9.99. It's on sale. Maybe I should get it, Brandon.
Yep, I love it. My favorite movie of the year, probably.
Is there a 4K disc of it?
It's coming. It's coming. I did pre-order it. I already
This is
own the
4K.
Blu-ray, but I did.
But streaming 4K, Jay. Oh, you need to pop that disc in.
Yeah, I do the Apple TV, so I get the full 4K. I don't, the Netflix and the upscaling, the other ones, I don't know.
Dylan, we this conversation has happened a lot. Jay used to be a physical media collector, but now he's all digital, baby. Dylan is also a physical media collector, so
yeah, I understand.
I've
I
become
understand
one,
the
but-
appeal, you guys. I do. I'm older than you, so I've bought them all more times than you have. And then when our life my wife passed away last year, like that whole thing when she had MS, it was like I can't do any of this anymore.
Well, stuff is its own prison sometimes. I know that physical media is wonderful, but
I did watch Blood Simple streaming on the Criterion channel. So I definitely need to pick up that because I only own it on VHS. This is the only copy of Blood Simple I own. So I got to get that Criterion disc because I absolutely
thousands of your new Blockbuster followers are unfollowing right now. He streamed it. He streamed it, everybody.
Out of necessity.
I'm joking. Let's see.
a
Let's see
side-
if you hit 41,000 while we're on the air. It might happen.
As a side tangent, on streaming, Brandon, the thing that I've
Yes.
said to my students time and again is like when I was a kid and the latest, Oscar nominations came out and here's the best international films, I could not watch them. And today you can go and stream them the day after the nominations come out. Like the world that's been opened up to world cinema from streaming is like the best argument for why streaming is valuable for sure. And I love getting to watch those films.
I believe in both of it. I
Mm-hmm.
believe
I
in
agree with that.
streaming and the ease and the capability, but I also as a collector, I like the physical object, but I also am like, yes, I am getting a marginally better picture than a streaming than streaming over the internet. It is still streaming in 4K, but my disc has gigabyte, more gigabytes in it that I'm just getting marginally of a higher quality image, and that's it. Right? I'm aware of all of that.
I think
If
the
we're
biggest
looking
thing
at bit rate, you can argue
Yeah.
bit rate. But as far as what your
exactly.
eye can actually perceive, I would argue that these days, if you're at an Apple TV or something like that where you bought it, it's pretty decent.
With a
pretty decent.
high
You're right.
download speed.
Yeah, you need the high internet, but you're right. But you're right, exactly that gigabit
Yeah.
internet.
It's marginal. I'm not poo-pooing streaming because I have lots of streaming services and I watch lots of stuff digitally. I also I like my things. I like my tangible little things.
I had my first DVD rot out on me recently. It was a 2003 copy of Kiki's Delivery Service with the original dub. And I watched it 6 months ago, worked fine. Watched it about a month ago, wouldn't play. Held it up to the light and it
Delaminate?
rotted. Totally. No, just like it was full of pinholes. The glue went bad and the aluminum inside rotted out.
Yeah.
Apparently those Buena Vista DVDs are bad for that. I need to make time to rip my my Castle in the Sky because I don't want to have to go track down that dub. But man, like I kept
thing. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying I kept telling Brandon for years. I'd say, Brandon, you're collecting VHS tapes, but they're dying, man. They're all rotting away. And here I am holding a rotted DVD in my hand, and I'm like, "Who's laughing now?" I could watch this on VHS tape today, but this DVD is gone. So I don't know.
VHS tapes are doing good. they obviously the more if I watch something more and more and more, they're going to get weak and they're going to die. But yeah, everything's holding on. What happened to me is I bought when right before the third season of Twin Peaks came out, they released a really nice box set of the entire mystery of season 1 and 2 and Fire Walk with Me on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I bought it the day it came out. I love it. Prized item in my collection. It's an out of print box set now. Well, just last year, after David Lynch passed away, I rewatched everything, all the films. I wanted to rewatch Twin Peaks. Pulled out my nice Blu-ray set. I got about halfway through season 2, and all of a sudden, my Blu-rays aren't working. And what it is it's the paper cardboard slide out packaging. So the disc is like in a little cardboard sleeve and you have to slide it out. Over the years, the sliding in and out destroys the discs. The paper can deteriorate the discs. And so the last couple of discs in this CBS release of this particular Twin Peaks box set has destroyed my Blu-ray discs. And so I had to go and I had to buy a new version of the box set that came in a plastic version so I could finish watching and own the series on Blu-ray. But I was so mad.
Are you not able to repolish that if it's just scratches? Because I've always been able to repolish.
Not Blu-ray.
No, you can't
DVDs
do it,
you
huh?
can, but Blu-rays, if
Yeah.
you polish,
Okay.
they're dead. Yeah.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know what it is
Yeah.
about Blu-rays, but I've always read if you do it on Blu-rays, they die. So it's
Kidding.
I feel the same way, Brandon. I buy box sets all the time that I go, oh no. And I have like a big pack of DVD sleeves now that I just sleeve them all up. And sometimes I have to find a new storage solution, and that's the way it is. But I do think that my physical media obsession has come back only because I teach and I cannot stream the things. I cannot find them on YouTube. I need to have a copy of so many of these things. Now, maybe I've gone a little too far, but oh well, who doesn't? But it's still a real joy to be able to share some of this media with my students, and some of it I wouldn't be able to. So I do think that the argument for both is absolutely true. I stream stuff too, but I will admit I love the experience, as I'm sure you do, Brandon, of what am I going to watch today? Well, let's go to the Blockbuster. Either the real Blockbuster that you have or the shelf that you have, rather than 20 minutes later, I'm still scrolling through the comedies on Netflix, and I'm like, wait a second, have I seen these before? What am I doing here? Like, I want to go back. This is the best
argument,
right?
This is the best argument for physical media I've ever heard in my life. Is I miss the perusing of all of the racks. I miss all of that for sure. But if you don't know what you want to fucking watch, there is no more perusing. You are stuck for all night. You will never watch a movie.
It's crazy. It's
scroll,
crazy,
scroll,
right?
scroll,
It's
scroll.
crazy.
This way, that way, this way. Oh, you're so right about that.
But it is hard because I mean the best workflow that we had for watching movies when we were growing up was I'm going to go to the movie store and look at that. Look what's on the shelf. Have to take that home today. I've kind of wondered about.
Hopefully it's in stock. Hopefully
it's in stock, right? Yeah.
Well, I also heard. Sorry, Dylan, were you going to say something else?
I just was going to say I still have a local movie store near me where I can go and rent things. Although I will admit the rentals there aren't enough for me to really feel like that's urgent business. I just love buying movies there. I need to watch. It's just such joy. Yeah.
Another point that I heard that was really interesting is back when there was video stores and we were going and picking a couple of movies to bring home, because of you paid the money for it, each individual title, you went to the store, you picked them out, you brought them home. Most people, even if they weren't really enjoying it, they would finish them. But now, because of Netflix and streaming, people are putting on a movie for 5 minutes and going, I'm not into this. And then they're leaving it and never coming back to it. So we
used to have to get up off the couch and go change the damn thing. Nowadays, you just pick up the remote.
Even more so. You're like, well, I guess I'll watch this because I don't want to get up and go actually change the dial.
Yeah, I'll give it 5 more minutes.
Even the point that if you rented something and it was a 2-day rental and you didn't finish it, then you're like, I'm going to eat the late fees because I have to watch it tonight. And then I'm going to get it back 1 day late, right? Like there's definitely this like urgency to do this. I think we've lost a lot of urgency culturally around films. I mean, I have students who care about films, but one of the reasons I watch movies with my class, whole movies, is because my students just don't watch movies anymore. And it's very challenging to teach them to make film, to make cinema, when they don't have this reference, right? Like the Coen Brothers made the movie they made here because of all of the ingrained knowledge they had from just watching movies all through their life.
Right.
When you don't have that, and you come into, even if you come into a high school film class, which the Coen Brothers wouldn't have had, okay, but I can't teach you a lifetime of watching and interpreting films. Like you just can't have that experience.
Yeah. And then you have people like Quentin Tarantino who have built their entire careers off of just taking the shots that they like from other movies, particularly world cinema, and just redoing them. Right. And because he was such a film fan and was watching all the movies that nobody had ever seen, you know, he got away with it for so many years. But I think now people are like, oh, he literally just did the same shot. Right. You know, like
Sergio Leone made the same movie. And yet we still love Fistful of Dollars.
Yes, yeah,
even
true.
Though it is Yojimbo.
Over and over and over,
Yojimbo, he made Fistful of Dollars based on Yojimbo, and then he was literally sued because he made the movie too closely to Kurosawa's Yojimbo. So there's definitely been other examples of brilliant filmmakers who make brilliant movies that are ripoffs. Nosferatu, the original Nosferatu, is another example of a movie that was ordered destroyed and yet still exists. Yeah. So I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. I love how artists in film have to interpret things like that. And
it's just ingrained, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's why I think the Coen Brothers are so interesting, because they're truly original. They aren't copying. Yes, occasionally they're basing things on the Odyssey, but really they are
loosely. The point where they said they've never read the Odyssey. They just knew the highlights.
We keep trying to get around to that. Didn't you make Llewyn Davis also based on the Odyssey? Oh yeah, we never read it.
How did I not know this?
Either. Yeah.
This is well-known stuff?
Yep. The Old Brother Where Art Thou has a credit at the beginning that is like I can't remember what it actually is, but it's like inspired by Homer's The Odyssey or something.
John Goodman
literally plays the Cyclops, like he's wearing an eye patch.
He's the giveaway. Yeah.
There's sirens in the movie.
Yeah, no, I mean everything you're saying makes sense, but maybe that's why I never really understood Oh Brother Where Art Thou. That's probably my least favorite.
Have said that they never read the Odyssey. They just knew the highlights.
But that's so them is them just I think this film is really creative. And it shows a lot of, so much energy to try and create a film from scratch. And they were, I don't know if we haven't gotten to the financial stuff yet, but apparently they were pretty worried about being on the hook for this investor money. So I'm curious to hear about the financial stuff here, Brandon. Do you have, I don't know where they are.
What a perfect segue, Dylan. Thank you so much.
He was messaging me like, can you get us out of this hole? No.
So Blood Simple has its initial release in 1984 at Sundance, the New York Film Festival, Toronto International Film Festival, and Cannes. So these big film festivals it plays at. It ends up winning the Grand Jury Prize at Sundance, and the Coen Brothers win. Well, technically, we should actually say this. Technically, Joel Coen wins Best Director, tied with Martin Scorsese for After Hours at the very first ever Independent Spirit Awards.
Wow.
Emmett Walsh also wins Best Actor at that first Independent Spirit Awards. Now, famously, Joel Coen is the credited director on all of the Coen Brothers movies up until 2004's The Lady Killers. And that was all because of the Directors Guild of America.
Yeah, I was going to say they changed the rules.
Yes, the DGA did not allow them to credit as two directors of a film. And that is why on all of the films up until Lady Killers, it is directed by Joel Coen, produced by Ethan Coen. Mm-hmm. But they did all of the work together. They directed all of those movies together. The people who work with them call them like the one-brained monster or something.
Two-headed monster or something.
Yes, yeah. They have such a symbiotic way of communicating. I mean, they're brothers, for God's sakes, right? Like they just know each other. And so yeah, not until The Lady Killers do they actually get co-directing credit as directed by Joel and Ethan Coen.
The biggest benefit to me of having that duo is something that Dylan brought up earlier with the 3 times you make a movie. If you can have your editor on set, in general, that's a benefit because they can tell you what you're going to need and what you're not going to need before you even fucking shoot it. But if you have somebody who's your brother and your partner and like your cohort, like that you trust, like you were saying, Brandon, I can't even imagine how efficient they were able to move.
Well, and this film, I'm curious to hear about its financial success because they presumably got final cut on everything they made after this, which is such a victory if they did. Because I can't imagine Raising Arizona cut by a studio executive and a studio editor.
That movie wouldn't be memorable. They would have ruined it.
It wouldn't work.
It would have. Yeah, it would have been a terrible Ernest movie. And I don't mean that Ernest movies are terrible. It would have been a terrible take at an Ernest movie.
Yeah, but this film, doing it independently, meant that they could show the world, look, we should have full control of this. But it's still so rare to get that. It feels like it anyways.
Right,
Go ahead.
right.
Yeah,
no, that's a great point.
Because this is a movie made outside the studio system, like one of the websites I use for information is the AFI, the American Film Institute, AFI.org. And they have this incredible catalog of all of the times these movies that I'm researching are mentioned in all of the trades, you know, Variety. What are some other ones? Like the big, the industry magazines and the industry papers talking about all the projects that are being produced and made and actors and
the trades,
yes. And they catalog all of this stuff. Well, Blood Simple has none of that information because it was made completely independently outside of the studio. Amazing. Along with the box office. There is not a lot of information on the box office. It did get a small theatrical release. So
what studio eventually released it?
Well, it's Circle Films is what it's credited as the distribution. MGM ended up buying it.
As a title later, though, I bet.
Yes,
way later. Like in one of their mass purchases.
Yes, maybe around even 2000 because that's when sort of a re-release happens later is in the year 2000.
That is exactly when it happened in like 98 or 99. They bought a bunch of libraries. I bet it happened then.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the initial box office is said to be $2.7 million. And then the only actual numbers that I could find were from a 2000 re-release of Blood Simple. But they say that ultimately it ended up going on to make $4.3 million. Now,
this would have been a limited release, though, in those theaters, right? We're not talking about 3,000 theaters.
No, not at all. This is
like 100 theaters or something.
Yes.
Yeah,
now,
okay.
To answer your question, Dylan, the Coen Brothers have said that they paid back all of their investors. So the movie did make enough money, whether it was through a sale to some sort of distributor or just the small amount of box office earnings that they were able to get their hands on. They did pay back their initial $750,000, which is what the movie sort of ended up costing by the time they finished making it. So all that money got
and they didn't market it at all, right?
No, not at all. I talked about the VHS release with the song changes, and I had mentioned that a director's cut, which I think was around the 2000 or 2001, I have written here. That's when the Coen Brothers dropped the 3 minutes from the movie, and it's one of the rare director's cuts that's actually shorter than the theatrical release. It doesn't really ever happen when you're putting out a.
Was it Rocky IV? Rocky IV was the only one that happened with, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because they cut the robot stuff.
They cut all the robot stuff, but Stallone added stuff back in. I can't remember. I'd have to look back at my notes. I can't remember what the run times were off the top of my head. But yeah, very rarely does a director's cut actually shorten their movie. Our buddies Siskel and Ebert did review Blood Simple on at the movies. They both really loved it.
Wow.
They described it even as gory and depraved, which I think is so funny considering like how gory movies have become.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that Siskel and Ebert look at Blood Simple as gory and depraved, and you're like,
the hand.
Okay.
It's the closing. It's the hand, and it's all the shit at the end. It's brutal.
Yeah.
I kept thinking that he was going to pull his hand out. Did anybody else think that might be a possibility and split it like a tongue, like a
yeah. They would do that now. While
you're right. The Saw movies. One of Eli Roth would do that now. Yeah.
The way they did that is it is a partially cut knife with a flat plate welded to it through the glove. So in certain shots, it's actually M. Emmett Walsh's hand in the glove with a flat plate on top of his hand, and then the knife protruding through so he can move it. And then when the knife is coming out, it's actually an animatronic fake hand. And if you watch it closely enough, you can see the little animatronic finger movements.
Really?
That's how they were able to pull it out in that shot. Yeah. Probably borrowed from their friend Sam Raimi.
I know, right?
Good point.
So Siskel says that I bought the whole thing, he says. Even with his short fuse on violence, he was in. And Ebert just was talking about this new vision from these young filmmakers. He was very positive about this Joel Coen, this new filmmaker, you know, not at the point where we're calling them the Coen Brothers yet, because it's just sole directed by Joel Coen. But ultimately 2 thumbs up for Blood Simple from Siskel and Ebert.
Wow.
This felt like an Ebert movie through and through. I am surprised that Siskel liked it.
But I think that there really is enough going on that it is a unique first time vision. Ultimately,
you're
right?
Yeah, you're right. No, you're definitely right.
Did they both like The Exorcist? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know. Actually, I've never.
I feel like they both did. But anyways, I'm curious because I do think Siskel. Oh, well, anyways, and you know more about them.
No, go with this. I'm curious where you're going here.
I'd like to know what you say.
I feel like the vibe of like, okay, is there a through line from The Exorcist or not? There's certainly like dark grittiness about it's not exactly supernatural stuff going on, but there's definitely stuff going on that is hitting you emotionally about this film. Huh. And I think that some of the gore fests that are happening in horror at the time probably aren't the same way. I would exclude Evil Dead because that movie's, I don't know, it's not a perfect movie, but it's a perfect movie. But it does feel like that would be it'd be an interesting connection. I'd be curious. Did Siskel like?
Yeah, it looks like it might be Ebert and Roper at that time, 1973.
No, that's later.
Oh, is that
Siskel
later?
gave a very
Roper
positive review. Yeah,
I can't find
in the 70s. It would have been just. It would have been before. That would have been before the show.
The show.
Yeah,
interesting.
So they would have been independently writing for the 2 papers.
Yeah, every time, like every episode, I can get a Siskel and Ebert review. I just think it's such a good touchstone for this time period. Whether or not I agree with them, I usually disagree with them. But the one thing that has been so funny to track throughout the course of this show is Siskel's response to violence. He is so like sometimes
you said it
like,
short fuse.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes you're just like, come on, man. Like it's fine. Like I understand what you're saying, but you know, like it's little. I mean, I guess he doesn't know because he's living in the present, but he doesn't know where it goes, right?
Yeah.
I'll just.
I don't know if you watch the clips or not, but he's vehement about it. Like when he's saying it, like I don't know if you're reading transcripts or if you're watching him.
I'm watching the
and the violence. Yeah. You know, he just gets so passionate about why it's not necessary.
there is a bunch of people that have uploaded full episodes of Siskel and Ebert on YouTube, and so all I do is I'm just searching the title of the movie in Siskel and Ebert, and then I'm watching the sections of the episode where they're reviewing and then doing the thumbs up and thumbs down.
I had loved every version of that show.
Yeah, so ultimately a success, paid back their investors, made a little bit of money, and it proved to studios that these guys could make movies, and they follow up with Raising Arizona, which, as we've touched on, super fun, wild, good sophomore movie, right?
But a studio did put that out, right? That was
Yeah.
put out by somebody. I can't remember who.
Yes.
But
20th
like somebody
Century
paid
Fox.
for that movie.
Fox.
Oh, so Fox, yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, 2 years later, 1987.
What a weird follow up to such a dark, it's wild.
And that's
Because you're right.
and
Then it's the Coen Brothers.
both
That movie is
sides, yes,
the Coen
it's
Brothers.
The duality of the Coen Brothers, because then that leads us to further down the line with No Country for Old Men, because like if you compare No Country for Old Men
the darkness
to
again?
even Fargo has darkness, but it has some really goofy funny moments in it, right? Talking to those ladies at the bar is such a great scene in Fargo.
Fargo
But
also has a kind of happy ending, even though everybody dies. The hero gets her man, and I think No Country
Yeah.
for Old Men is so bleak. That's why I
Yes.
think I love it the best. It's just
Yeah.
it opens up the pit of like this is really how.
Yeah, still
okay,
everybody
we started-
dies, but the guy gets away with it.
I think someone made the comment that it's like, okay, so here the Coen brothers starting to make movies, and 30 years later, they just see so much bleakness in humanity that their vision of humanity just gets worse and worse. Because it feels like this movie, Blood Simple,
Oh, that's defeating.
and No Country for Old Men are very similar. They're so dark, both of them.
Yeah.
And it just feels like No Country is like taking what this movie does and doing it even more bleakly. And I don't know, maybe I don't know. I like that film can convey that, but I admit it's a tough film. Yeah.
So many people critique the end of No Country. They go, "I love that movie. I love that movie. I love that movie." And then to the end, and then I go, "I know,
love the
but where
ending.
else?" I go, "But where else do you go with it?"
I love that.
Like I defend it because I don't know where else you go.
To me, the ending almost feels a little bit like the water drop at the end of this movie, where it's like, could you plan for what happens? Sometimes you just, like things happen, you get shot, you fall under the sink, you get hit by a car. Like it's interesting how they give both of their villains this really weird, random ending in both these movies.
And sometimes I just imagine the Coen brothers sitting in a room going like, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny if he just got hit by a car?" You're like, yeah, cool. Yeah, sure.
I guess
it's just like so light.
That's a
Like,
rare adaptation of a book for them, though. So I guess I think that's probably already present in the
Oh,
McCarthy
that's
novel,
true.
but
Yes. Yeah.
but that's
I forgot
interesting.
that it's
But you're
an
right.
adaptation.
They certainly chose to put it in there, which they didn't
Yeah,
have
they only won the Oscar for best adapted screenplay that year. All right. We don't have to end this Coen Brothers talk. You know what? Actually, a Coen Brothers movie that has not been brought up the entire 3 hours. True Grit.
Love True Grit.
Love
Oh,
True
funny.
Grit.
I forgot about that. I've seen the original and never saw the Coen Brothers version.
I show
So
every
great.
other year. One year I show Raising Arizona to my 9s, 10s, and the next year I show True Grit to my 9, 10s.
One of the greatest performances from a young actress, Haley Steinfeld. She is unbelievable in that movie. Everybody is like just having so much fun. Oddly
Some of the best
enough,
dialogue they ever wrote in that movie.
I was
Like,
pulling
incredible
all my
dialogue.
Coen Brothers movies today, and I don't own a physical copy of True Grit, which kind of I'm like, how has that slipped through my fingers?
It seems like the old westerny version. You need the tangible. You need a steampunk
Yeah.
version.
Well, and there's no 4K release of it because I looked it up today because I was going to buy it. But
Oh, that surprises me.
Yeah.
Yeah, when was that? That was 2010. So there will
Yes.
probably be one eventually, unless it gets forgotten. I'm not
Well-
even sure who.
Well, but
published
just the
it,
way
who
it
produced that film.
The cinematography too,
I
the
don't-
way it's
I
shot.
don't.
and
I don't know. I
everything.
can't look at I can't look at it. I don't have a physical copy. How am I supposed to know who distributed this film?
Because of course, depending on the producer, I feel like we'd have a pretty good idea of whether they will eventually make one. But maybe it'll just be up to Arrow or someone else. I don't even know.
True Grit is
Brendan, I've watched it go from 40,000, 700, 800. Now you're at 900.
Paramount.
It's going to be 41,000
well,
by
then
the time we close.
We'll probably
Paramount
see one
Pictures.
at some point. We'll probably see one, but that's That's interesting.
Yeah, I did. I saw that too, Jay. I looked at it. It was 40.8, which is
It's
insane.
40.9 now. I'm watching it. If we still stay here, it's going to be 41,000 while we're on the air. I've told you. I sent him a message before. It's like I'm just eating popcorn, watching your Instagram grow. It's fascinating. I love it.
There's a Coen Brothers film that will never be in 4K, and it has an interesting distinction. It was the first film ever digitally edited on a computer, and that is "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Yeah, I knew that one.
Film. Yeah, because it was scanned in 2K so that they could sepia tone it.
Yes, digitally.
But they never cut the negative. Yeah.
Right.
What a
So
weird.
there's no way to get it better than what it is unless we AI it.
Or cut the negative, which
well,
they're never
good
going
thing-
to cut the negative.
Good thing
But-
it's the only Coen Brothers movie out of besides Blood Simple that I own on VHS. All my,
There are a couple. There's a couple of their films that have that same distinction though, from that same era, where they're just never going to have a 4K release unless somebody actually goes back to the negative.
Yeah, I mean, you could reprint. I mean, you can reprint a negative pretty easily, right? And then you could. But
it's
you'd
a-
have to. You still have to clean and process the
huge.
original negative to get a clean. Yeah, you're right. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Although
But
I will admit,
you could clean and process the original and then make that one, and then you cut the dupe, which makes sense. That's probably what they would do, right?
yeah, and what's interesting about the Coen Brothers' career is they bounce from all the different studios, right? They are
Right.
very much like,
They never
who's
had a
going to
deal.
let us make a movie? So now, in order to release some sort of like, these studios all have to go through their archives at the same time, to hit some sort of anniversary or box set. Whereas, for a time, not that it's anymore, but Christopher Nolan was primarily making his movies at Warner Brothers, right? And so Warner Brothers
Yeah.
owns a lot of the Christopher Nolan works, whereas
Most directors do that. They do a studio deal. Spielberg's been with Universal for 40 years.
exactly right.
interesting.
Although they allowed him to branch out because he had a concurrent deal with Warner Brothers at the time. Remember, he did a couple movies for Warner Brothers like a few years ago. But I'm pretty sure he's back at Universal.
Yeah, well, and the only reason Christopher Nolan left Warner Brothers is because they dumped Tenet onto streaming.
Streamers.
And he was mad about that, so he left.
Yep.
And then that's when Universal was like, come to us, we'll let you make your Robert Oppenheimer film and then win Academy Awards. Yeah.
Which is funny.
But
because
wasn't it
apparently-
during COVID too? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Dave.
I was
Yes, it
going to say
was.
Warner Brothers had missed out on Oscars for years. They hadn't won a Best Picture in years and years and years. And
Yes.
finally, the year that Nolan switched,
Barbenheimer.
Best Picture. Yeah, so funny.
But they did win this past year because One Battle After Another is a Warner Brothers film. Yeah.
They had a great year.
They had a great year. Superman,
they sweeped
Weapons,
up. Yeah.
Yeah, Sinners, One Battle
Sinners.
After Another, all Warner Brothers films.
There's another big one too. We're forgetting.
Okay, we can continue to talk about the Coens, but let's get into our ratings of Blood
do
Simple. Jay, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Whatever. I'm whatever you'd like. You want me to go? So I had a hard time with this one. When it was over, I didn't know how to rate it, which is why I go, oh, well, it was a very, well, it took, I felt like it was a very long watch. My clock says it's a very short watch, so I just let it run again. And I went about and did stuff, but I did take it in again. And I don't think it's good. I don't. I think there's a lot of good in it. And it certainly shows where the good will come from.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not without merit, but I just did not. I hated Ray, and he's unfortunately on screen more than most anybody else. And the people I did like, we killed one of them in the beginning, and the other guy's barely in it. Like, so I landed with 2 stars. But because I don't do halves, it probably would have been 2.5 because of the merit of this is the fucking Coen Brothers, and there is DNA here. There's some solid DNA here.
It's an interesting argument, isn't it? Like, how much do you rate this film? Like, if you were looking at this film in 1985, you might have the same reaction and go, I'm never going to watch a movie made by those guys ever again. I hated this. And then we change your mind 5-10 years later. But it is interesting because I think we look back on it. I probably would have put it somewhere close to that a few years ago. Sorry, Brandon, I'm jumping you. Do you want me to wait?
No. It's your turn.
It's great.
I was
sandwich.
I probably would have rated it in that realm when I first watched it, and I think a couple years ago I watched it again when I picked up the Criterion disc, and for some reason this time it stuck with me a little bit more. But I will admit it's uneven. The first half is much stronger, and I don't think that there's a climax to the movie that is more intense than burying Marty. So when your climax for the film comes like 50 minutes or into the movie and you still have a long way to go, that's a little bit of an indictment. But again,
I think it's even before that. I think it's more like 40.
I think you could still say like, well, what is it doing interesting with structure? What is it doing with these things? But I do think that there is stuff going on that I caught this time that I liked better. I think this time it didn't end up in my top 5 Coen Brothers movies, but it did drift up closer. So I think I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I don't think, I think it's even a little bit generous. Like I do think that I might be giving it a half star because it's the Coen Brothers. I do think I really like it, and I liked it better this time. Part of it is brief, but it does feel a little slow. But then so is Fargo. Fargo is a slow film. They really specialize in slow films. And I will admit, I might be trying to like this movie because it's important. But I don't know that I'm going to show too many clips of it to my students, right? I don't know that I'm going to show clips and be like, look at his Converse on the bar. Wasn't that a cool shot? Maybe.
You know, but you're right in that we're not watching it in 85. We're watching it now, and you are able to make that judgment.
I will say that the moments that punch me in the gut that really get me, I think these days I give a lot of props to a movie when a movie, which is this ephemeral thing, this crazy piece of art, can really make me feel something intense and go, wow, I've been taken on a ride, even if it's incomplete, as this film is kind of incomplete. I give a lot to that for the heights of the film. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, you should show your students Blood Simple and then show them the Barry Sonnenfeld, Joe, and Ethan Coen where they rip apart the movie and talk about how bad it is in their mind.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
It is a great piece watching them.
It's really awesome. Like I said, it's down in the description below. It's about an hour long. It's such a great one.
I will likely check that out.
They each have like little iPads and they can like draw on it digitally, so they're like scribbling over things and
like a telestrator, like football. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yes,
they're doing things like, hey, look at how you're not motivated by that light. It's very funny.
It's really, really great.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I definitely came around to this movie in a much stronger way than the first time I saw it many, many, many years ago. And part of that was what I loved so much about watching this movie was the indie film spirit. These two guys who raised money, made this movie. The movie seemingly works. There is lots of stuff, as we've talked about, that I absolutely love from the movie. I know that it drags a little bit. I see the emptiness of the Ray character. All of that being said, I think there is so much like promise in this movie, and I am aware of where these guys go and making some movies that I fully love. I had such a great time watching Blood Simple on the Criterion channel. I cannot wait to get my hands on the 4K release of Blood Simple because I never bought the Blu-ray, so now I don't have to. Like, I am excited to upgrade per se and get the 4K. I don't know. I gave this 4 stars and a heart on Letterboxd, and
wow.
Dylan, you brought up a good point. I probably gave it a whole extra star because it is the Coen Brothers. So if I'm really thinking about the quality of the film and what I took from it, in my mind, it's a solid 3 stars, but I am going to keep it at the 4 stars because I know where it goes. And like I said, I had fun watching this movie, and a large part of my enjoyment of movies is the ride, right? I can be critical about shots and writing maybe after the fact, but a lot of the time when I'm sitting there watching it, I just feel invested, and there is so much in it that I think is cool. You know, whether it is just cool for a cool shot's sake, or it actually is good. I don't know. I'm still getting kind of the same enjoyment out of it. So
agreed. Yeah. And I will say that we harped on it a little bit earlier, saying this is not really a Coen Brothers movie, but it's actually kind of a gift too, because they make so many Coen Brothers movies. They made 20 of them. But it's really kind of cool to see them do a movie that is so different. And I know that they were never going to. Joel Coen Ethan Coen called this movie crude, and Joel Coen called it bad when they were talking about it. And I don't agree with Joel, but I will admit there's crudeness to this movie, but I don't actually think it detracts. I think, like you, the independent filmmaker spirit, the Evil Dead of it really sticks in my bones, and it goes, isn't it cool that someone made this with just their grit, just going and getting the money to make a movie?
Yes.
Which is amazing, right?
Own. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have such a love for people that do that, and maybe a part of it is just like, that's what I wanted to do, right? I made a movie with my friends. We raised money, and I wanted to continue and make more movies, right? Like so when I see that happening, especially in indie film, I get such a rush from that, and seeing the early version of what becomes the Coen Brothers movies, films that I truly love and have become some of my favorite movies. I don't know. It's like I just feel so warm watching Emmett Walsh shoot Dan Hedaya and a desk with fish on it, right? Like there's nothing better in my mind, right?
Oh man, that gunshot moment is a really, really strong moment in that film too. It hits you. Now I have to watch your VHS, Brandon. I must see this movie to him
with Neil Diamond.
Up to Neil Diamond, because apparently he is cleaning up to. I have to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'll pop it in and maybe I'll take a video of it or something. I'll send it to you guys.
Oh man. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a clip of at least the cleanup scene, because that's where that song shines for me. Yes, the jukebox in the beginning. Yes, the credits at the end. But like, it's the cleanup scene where it's so like, fuck, Ray, goddamn it.
Something I wanted to say from one of their other interviews, because we talked about 35 millimeter earlier, and how Sam Raimi made a film on 16, but then he really wanted to make a film on 35. And like from there, the world's your oyster once you're on 35 millimeter. And the same was the case for the Coen Brothers, is that they could go to studios, and the studios didn't want to buy it, but apparently they would watch it. They'd be like, "Oh, you made a film on 35?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Must be a real
check
movie.
it out."
Yeah.
And that's really interesting to realize that now that gateway isn't really there anymore. That gatekeeping isn't really there. Yes, I mean, you can.
I disagree.
Interesting. Well, maybe I'm thinking of a decade ago when you could make Tangerine on an iPhone, or you could make Lady Bird on 2K, or you could make Frances Ha on a Canon 5D, right? Like,
you are 100% right about. Oh no, I'm sorry.
But like, those things were made on those cameras.
Yeah.
But that's still 10 years ago. Like, I don't know if you could do that today. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's no longer.
I think you.
Well, I guess what I meant was the buy-in part not being gone is that's not really, like, if somebody shoots something on film today, it's even more. Oh, we'll watch your fucking thing.
Oh, right.
We want, because we want to put out something that somebody shot on film.
Yeah. Whereas
we want your thing to be good so that we can buy it.
But if you film if you shoot on a Sony whatever, you're among a lot of other films shot on those same cameras, right? It just
not possibly. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so diluted.
And
in fact, if you shoot something on like on an FS3 or whatever, the Sony, the fancy whatever, the $6,000 camera, that is going to be the impressive thing these days, versus like, oh well, we built an iPhone rig, and we built 3 iPhone rigs, and we ran out and whatever.
Yeah. Shout out to
it's so different.
Our guest, Chris Bragosh, on Transylvania 65000, co-writer of Tangerine.
Wow.
Last week. You have to check out that episode.
Great
episode.
Episode.
About Tangerine.
Very cool.
He is awesome.
That
was so fun.
I mean, one of the big things we heard about Videotronyxz was just like, it looks cheap. And it's like, yeah, it was cheap. we shot on the throwaway cameras they used for Mad Max Fury Road, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. It was $1,000 camera that they would strap to the underside of the cars, the crash cams. But we used it because it had 14 stops of dynamic range and shot raw, and you know, that's what we could afford at that time.
The challenge is you can shoot raw, but can you process it? Right? It's always just the grading and what do you turn it into? Right? Yeah, it's challenging. Yeah,
it's interesting the different scale though of like, you know, I'd throw a GoPro under there to be disposable, and they're just like, oh no, throw a $30,000 Blackmagic rig in whatever there, but it's cheaper than the Genesis rig or whatever they were shooting on.
One of the worst decisions that Peter Jackson ever made was using a GoPro in one of the Hobbit movies. I remember sitting in the theater.
He really did it? I was joking.
Yes.
That's like a Mythbusters thing.
Oh my God. It is the most egregious, like distracting shot. There is a sequence where they're in barrels going down the river in one of the Hobbit movies, and it cuts to GoPro footage on the front of the barrel projected on the big screen. I was like, what are we doing here? What is going on?
Those films deserve all
what's going on? Yeah.
What's going on here, Terrence and Phillip?
He had no time to actually prepare for these movies. So when you end up with stuff like that, maybe this really is just how in the world can we make this movie in some way, right?
He talks about the Hobbit movies, the experience of building train track as the locomotive is coming down behind you. Like it's just you're just going and going, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Dylan, you must know about Letterboxd. I think we've talked about Letterboxd, and
yes, but I will admit that I am a human with ADHD, and social media and I don't compute, so I do not have Letterboxd. Yes. I have my own version of Letterboxd, which is great. I recommend it to everybody. It is a note on my iPhone where I write down all the films I watch.
Notes app. I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You don't get to see too many other people's comments though, but that's
okay. Well, I go through all of the reviews for these particular movies we cover, and I pull out some of the ones that I enjoy. So here are some Letterboxd user reviews, because Dan Hedaya doesn't pay him his last 2 weeks or whatever, right? His last paycheck, so he's going to steal money from the bar to make up for that.
Well, really, because he's going to leave with the girl, with his wife. Yeah, so really, exactly. Ray sucks. For that reason too, not that Dan Hedaya is any catch, but don't get me started. Ray, God damn it, Ray.
Lindsay says, "Remember when movies were set at night, but you could actually still see what's happening?" 4 stars.
Bravo! That's a shot at Netflix, and I am here for it.
Yeah. Like the deep blacks in this movie, I am here for them all day long.
Well,
I
even
love
just
the darkness in this
film,
the
stylized moonlighting. When M. Emmett Walsh is walking on the outside of the house, and it's that like blue light, or even when Ray and Marty are sitting outside. I mean, granted, Marty is lit by a bug zapper, which is a real bug that actually hit the bug zapper in that take, by the way.
So good.
More movie magic. But that's the kind of thing
I'm calling the Humane Society.
Fun fact, oh brother, where art thou? The Coen brothers got in trouble by the Humane Society because a car hits a cow in the movie. And granted, when I watched it the other day, I was like, that is clearly a digital cow. But the Humane Society in the year 2000 could not wrap their head around the digital effects, and the Coens and the studio had to prove to the Humane Society that it was not a real cow. Yes,
that's amazing. That's fantastic.
And after that, Net says, a movie where everyone is dumb and people kill each other. I love it. 4 stars. And then finally here, Hailey says, really a PSA about how important it is to wash your hands before returning to work.
Jesus Christ. Nailed it. Ray is Fingerprint City, man.
Is that the water? Is that the water drop at the end? You didn't wash your hands.
Yes.
Now we're gonna wash.
Employees must wash hands. That's the thesis of Blood Simple.
I want Maurice to get a movie. Is that too much to say? I feel like that character could.
He's got that cool eye mask. That did you guys read what his eye mask says?
No.
it's from an airplane, and it says "Wake me for food service."
Because you could put it either way in the old days. You could flip it,
guy's
do
a
not disturb
character.
or wake me for food service. Yeah.
That's a character that I want to get to know. I want to see more of that character for sure.
Well, is there anything else that we need to hit for the Coen Brothers, Blood Simple? I'm pretty sure at this point we have talked about every movie.
Movie.
Did we all say what our favorite Coen Brothers film is?
I did not.
I said I believe it's Fargo, I think is what I would say is my favorite Coen.
Yeah, and I would say mine is No Country for Old Men.
I'd probably have to go Lebowski just because I didn't want to like it, but I do. I'm one of, I was resistant, I was hesitant, and then and I didn't love it my first time, but I now I could put it on any single time because I do love it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to think of the Coen Brothers. Their last movie together was a Netflix movie. As you said,
Yeah.
Brandon, they make movies with everybody,
Let's talk about that too.
right?
We should hit that.
And the
When I
solos, because
saw-
I've watched some Ethan Coen
yeah.
ones
Oh,
lately,
yeah.
and they're
Everybody is sort of obsessed with, oh my God, are the Coen brothers separated? Are they going to work together again? And they're like, we're brothers. Like, everything's cool. We'll eventually get back together, but we're just working on our own.
take it easy,
stuff.
everybody.
Yes,
Just settle
exactly.
down.
Yeah, we're
Slow your
really
roll,
only-
they say. Slow your roll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're for 30, what would it be? 35 years 30 years they were working together, and now we're in the phase where they're just trying other things. So they have said eventually they will, work on something again together, but nothing has happened.
Yeah, I think that Joel Coen has one other solo venture coming out, but I don't know
Yes.
that there's another one. So I think that there is a moment on the horizon where they could conceivably line up. But of course, the challenge is if they continue to do solo films that don't line up, then they might be a little while. But
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I have to shout out Inside Llewyn Davis. We only talked about it a little bit. I love that movie so much.
it's a great movie.
I think it's highly underrated. I don't think enough people see it.
My
So
first
dark and fun for me.
my first watch of that movie this week, and I'm sorry if I spoil it, but my first watch of that movie for this podcast, just to kind of reacquaint myself with other Coen's films, I was amazed again at the structure that they play with in their films. How this film builds a lot of hope of like, oh, maybe the show that he's coming towards at the end of the film will be when he finally gets his big break, only to realize that we've already seen that show. We've just been in a flashback the whole film. And of course nothing's going to happen because that's not who he is. He's not really in love with what he does. He's just doing it.
Yeah,
And it's
he's just trying to survive.
There's a fascinating parallel between all of their couple films that they've made about art all have this connection of like, do I really love what I'm doing anymore? Then we talk about them taking a break from making movies together. So maybe there is some of that was creeping into their work a little bit.
Yeah.
Ballad of Buster Scruggs, if you both get around to watching it, it's an episodic film without spoiling anything. But it is one of their most visually unusual films. And I've only seen it once. And I kind of went, okay, great. But I've heard recently that after rewatches, it might resonate a bit more. So I think I have to give that one another go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Their films are deeper than maybe they appear. And I think they are.
Every time.
Yeah. And I think they're, in some ways, they're the great American filmmakers in some ways. I mean, you could easily call out someone like Nolan or someone who's making bigger, fancier films. But to me, they are some of the filmmakers that have really, again, making films about Americana, about strange parts of the U.S. or about strange people. They really feel like they are hitting a part of the culture that most filmmakers don't.
And they've carved out their own little section, their own little Coen brother genre, right? The stories they tell, the way they tell these stories, it's very much their own thing.
And they don't go and do like, you know what, I'm just going to go and do a studio film, one for them and one for me. No, they're all for them. They just make the stuff they want to make, right? And that's no shade on anybody.
That's envious,
It's no shade on like people like Spike Lee go and do Inside Man, and that's a great movie. But
it
they
is
sometimes
a good movie,
there's films that directors do that you sometimes go, this is not your work.
Like
Yeah.
Linklater made The Hitman recently. and I'm
School
like,
of Rock,
oh yeah, like
which is a great movie.
great movies,
Ugh,
but
But
they're
it's
not
studio
like,
comedy.
yeah.
That's my
And
complaint.
there's nothing
Feels like
wrong
a
with
studio
making
comedy.
those.
I
But it
love
does-
School of Rock so much.
You do?
I grew
I
up
know
on
the
that
world
film.
does.
God, I love it.
I
important movie
Nicole
for
worked
me.
with Jack Black for a bit, and for me, he is a fantastic, maybe the best second fiddle. But as a leading guy, I just don't buy it ever too much for me. And that was a prime
interesting.
example.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think that
Even though
role
the
is
story's
like
lovely, but the story is a retelling of
tailor-made
a.
for him.
Which one was School
Well,
of
yeah,
Rock?
I mean,
School of
he
Rock
did
was-
co-write the screenplay, I think,
Yeah,
didn't he?
with
Well,
Mike White.
no, I think it's a Mike White film.
It
I don't know
is,
if he
yeah.
co-wrote it.
He probably
Okay.
improvised a little bit though.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing, yeah, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah.
He's so talented in so many ways. That's for sure.
Definitely.
It's not a hating on Jack Black thing. I'm a big fan.
But that is a
Wanna
good
make that
example
clear.
because Richard Linklater will do Boyhood, a project where he's shooting real people over the course of 12 years, but then he also is doing School of Rock or that Glenn Powell one, Hitman,
Yeah.
which,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a whole other thing. Don't
That's
get me started
amazing
on
to me
Glenn.
that that's him.
Yeah,
Maybe
don't
I'm-
get me started
maybe
on
I'm-
Glenn Powell.
You don't
I
like
might
him?
be being
Not at all.
interesting. I might be being a little disingenuous because when we look at like the Lady Killers, that's probably as close to like a studio film that they did, and I don't think it's really worth like talking about that movie a lot. But same
I
with
wonder if
Intolerable
that's why I stayed
Cruelty.
away from it. I wonder if I
Maybe,
could smell
but-
it.
But I think it's the look. Like I think the trailers and the way they're marketed make them feel this way. When I watched Intolerable Cruelty
It's true.
yesterday, I expected a studio comedy that they made for a buck, and I was surprised that it was way weirder than that.
The
But just
poster makes
way-
it look
yeah.
like a total George Clooney, Catherine Zeta-Jones rom-com, and I think that's why
Absolutely.
I've always
There are-
avoided it. I remember a time when I was like, wait, that's a Coen Brothers movie,
Right.
Like, just from seeing all the imagery of it, being like, that's not what I'm gonna watch.
Dylan, I haven't
It is better than that. Yeah. Go ahead.
I haven't seen it since it first came out. Remind me of the plot. Are they either divorcing or they're both
Okay,
going through it?
So George Clooney is a divorce lawyer, and except he's a divorce lawyer, and Catherine Zeta-Jones has a husband who's sleeping around, and she decides to divorce him, and she's going to get half of what he owns because there's no prenup. And of course, he's had infidelities, and she hasn't. But George Clooney is trying to like maneuver
Yes.
a way to get her out of getting any of that money.
Yes,
and then Catherine
yes.
Zeta-Jones is trying to play him. It's a little bit like they're
Yes,
trying to
it's
heist each other.
Dirty
throughout the
Rotten
movie.
Scoundrels. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I think that was also what I didn't like. There was so much double crossing. But
Yeah.
that's another Coen Brothers thing too.
Yeah,
Ah.
I definitely.
Wow.
have to
All
see
right.
those
So I'm
films
going to
I
watch that
haven't
again
seen.
too, just to see.
Yeah,
And I need to watch our brother.
Let's all reconvene here next week.
yeah.
next week.
for a Coen Brothers year. Yeah, Dylan, check out Hudsucker Proxy. It's
Yes,
so much
thank
fun.
you.
Oh,
That's the one I need to
please.
see. That's the one I need to
Yes.
see, and I know it. I know I could stream it. I just tracked down a bunch of physical copies and I prioritized those.
Even if you don't like it, you're going to
have-
enjoy watching it. If that
I
makes
know
sense.
I will. I love
I
it.
think I still have my DVD because I upgraded to Blu-ray. So if I have my DVD, it is yours. It's got your name on it.
Nice.
Thank you, Brandon.
I just
I'm
got
very
I just
excited.
gotta remember where it is.
That's always a challenge with you, I expect. I'm the same
They took
way.
it out of the shelf, right? Because I got this
Yeah.
Warner Archive Blu-ray recently. And so I took-
Lovely.
The
I
the
took
production
my-
design in that movie is exceptional. It's such a great world. I love that you put it between the Tim Burton's Batman and Terry Gilliam's
Brazil.
Brazil. I mean, that is so great.
Yeah, I think it's up there with my Warner Brothers cardboard cases. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
gonna
'cause they
need to
did-
write a Blockbuster yearbook at some point,
I know, Brandon.
like Brandon's highlight thoughts from the first 50 episodes or something.
It's just like the thing. Everything's so big in it. It's just I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well,
I agree.
Thank you for letting me come and talk about a film that I am truly nostalgic about. Not because I loved it when it came out, but because it represented a moment when, and I'm sure we've all done these director deep dives, but it was like my first director deep dive when I was like 16 years old, and I was renting all the Coen Brothers movies I could get my hands on. And this one came across my desk and I liked it, but I always felt like, oh yeah, but it led to better things.
Yes.
And Brandon, I think I agree with you that I think it still stands on its own. But Jay, I'm also kind of with you that I don't know that it's worth like.
You're literally the perfect guest. then.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a little bit with you. I'm a little bit with you.
That's
how we
me. I
like it.
try and please everybody. I'm just, no, it's interesting. Interesting to see that film.
I love how well informed, well spoken. Like he is a perfect guest for this type of show. Also, do you have your own podcast? Do you host a podcast? Do you host anything like that, or you just teach?
Not. I just teach. So I just kind of have a podcast every day where my students.
That's what I'm thinking. You don't need to do it at home like the rest of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they laugh and sometimes they just look at me, and it's great. I love it. I love it both times. I love when they don't laugh even more, because then I know I'm crushing them a little bit inside. And that's the best.
Crushing and inspiring.
Read the room, teach.
How do you film a close-up? Great question. I'm glad you asked. All right. And they just sit there looking at me like, oh no. Yeah. Some great close-ups in this movie. I wish we had more extreme close-ups from the Coen brothers in their next collaboration, whenever that is. Yeah.
Something to look forward to.
That accidental lens thing makes no sense. I mean, I get that they shot it that way by accident, but like you don't confuse a short lens with a long lens. You know, it's
what I love? You know what I love?
It was probably a prime. Like it was probably a prime lens.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. I understand that it's not a big long zoom. I get that. It's funny.
I just love that they kept it. I just love that they recognized, we could reshoot this. No,
maybe it wasn't a 25 and 85.
Right?
Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it was a 50 to a 85 or something, right?
Still, I see your point. I guess.
It's tight, but not that tight. Yeah. Well, Dylan, is there anything that you want to plug? Is there, you're an interesting guest because you're just one of my friends, right?
Dylan's
perfect
the best.
I'm decidedly unplugged. Like I don't really have social media.
Yeah.
The one thing I do is I occasionally perform Shakespeare here in the Fraser Valley live, but that's like really rare now these days. And I would say just check out BC DeLorean because you do great work here, Brandon, and check out the podcast some more because it's really fun to hear you talk about films. Oh, look at this! Look at this!
Could be any second. It could be any second. 41 any second.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And I've seen you in shows. I mean, we should shout out Bard in the Valley. A lot of our mutual friends all run Bard in the Valley. They all work for Bard in the Valley. Some of my other longest friends are all involved with Bard in the Valley. So if you're in the Fraser Valley,
sounds like a children's storybook character. Bard in the Valley.
No, Bard, not
Bard, as in like the Bard, as in Shakespeare.
Like Shakespeare's the Bard.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see. As in like Shakespeare in the Park, Shakespeare in the Bard in the Valley.
Yes.
I see.
B-A-R-D, Bard in the Valley. So if you're in the British Columbia, Fraser Valley area, look up the Bard in the Valley. They do lots of great shows.
But you just gave me a great idea for a children's story. I'm going to write it down.
There you go.
Bard in the Valley.
Well, and Brandon, you and I did theater. We didn't really do theater together ever.
No,
but we were involved in the same crew.
We did it at the same time, at the same place.
But maybe one day we'll reconvene to talk about the premiere of Videotronyxz at
retrospective
and our next film that we make together, a blockbuster year, a podcast, a movie.
Yes. Oh my God.
Whoa.
Okay. No,
Meta.
I don't know. I do think that this is a great podcast, Brandon. I've never talked for so long about movies and not had to be like, oh no, where are my children? Where's my partner? Where am I supposed to be somewhere? So thank you for giving me this chance to do that. It was really a joy.
Yes.
Is this a record? Are we approaching the record again?
We are. You might actually
this is like
have the
this.
longest episode.
If we
Cut
draw out this goodbye, it could be 41. Could be 41 any second.
We can't draw it out just to draw it out. Okay,
well,
wait.
We still haven't done our
talk
plugs
about Coen Brothers. Oh yeah, you haven't done your own plugs yet. That's true.
No, but I do have to say, like, from the get-go, you were one person that I was like, regardless of like, people having things on the show to plug or whatever, I'm like, Dylan needs to be on the show because I truthfully, I don't meet a lot of people that can talk about movies to the degree that satisfies me. And I know that I talk at people about movies a lot, but Dylan is one person. Dylan is one person that whenever I get to be around him, I'm always just like, oh God, I'm just so excited to be like, what are you watching? What have you seen? What's blown you away? What didn't you like?
Yeah.
And just get we get down and dirty on it.
Brandon-
and I
Brandon and
love
I
it.
are
I feel like I was
used to-
podcasting with two of you tonight.
I know,
Yeah.
it's very interesting. We're used to not having to stop and let someone talk for so long when we're talking about movies. So I can see the gears
Sorry.
turning in both of our heads as we're like, oh wait, I have to stop. I have to listen. No, it's great. Jay, it's so wonderful to have you here too, from a different perspective too, because you're bringing in stuff about the industry and a little bit more of a different background on how you see this film and any film that we're talking about. But I'm just grateful that we had a chance to talk about films for a couple of hours here. How fun!
Yeah.
Great.
Well, and
This
this
has
is the
been
guy
one of my
that's
favorite
shaping the
episodes.
youths.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Yes, the
And,
youth.
and
Well,
I, my appreciation for what you do for a living is sincere. I have a fondness for educators of all types. So keep it up.
certainly- I
Thanks
certainly
for
know
doing
that-
what you do.
I certainly know that most of them aren't going to leave my class and go into the film industry, but I sure hope they have a little bit better of an ability to collaborate with each other. We need some people who can work together to solve some of these planet problems. And what better way than to try making these crazy things called movies, which are, I still am amazed they make anything in my class. I couldn't. I feel like it's so hard to do this stuff, but they're wonderful. And it's wonderful to talk about the miracles of these films. Yeah. Blood Simple among them. It's great.
Jay Ryan, where can people find you on the internet?
Thanks, Brandon. I have a new personal Instagram. It's jryan111. Otherwise, the main one is Porsche Life 111. The late night talk show podcast that we do over here in the other studio is called Late Night Playset. So give that a follow. And Blockbuster Year, we want to keep doing the show. So please follow, like, subscribe, do all the things you're supposed to do on this one: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. If you're into cars in the Los Angeles area, Good Vibes Breakfast Club every Friday morning up at Newcomb's Ranch. Tomorrow's the day. And make it a good night. If again, another talk show I'm having some fun with over there. Good guests coming up on Playset, though. We've got Team Stiglet in next week, and Jodie Sweden will be in the week after that. She played one of the girls on Full House. I didn't watch Full House. I just bought it. I just bought it yesterday.
The children.
Yeah, but she's one of the girls on Full House.
Yeah,
but she's also very funny and a very a good new friend and very talented. And she does a show in LA called Smoke Show with Sweeten, which I'm going to go see next week before she's on the show the week after. So should be fun. Should be fun and interesting. How about you, Brandon? Man, that was a mouthful. Thanks for letting me figure out where I'll be.
This is the section. This is why this is officially the longest episode. Congratulations, Dylan.
Ah, we did it! All right.
We have officially broken the record. It was 3:51 before. We're at 3:55. Amazing job.
It's you Canadians. It was one Canadian just bested another Canadian.
That's right. That's right. True. Mike up in Kelowna from the Letterman podcast that was on the Brazil episode.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, as Jay said, follow A Blockbuster Year, subscribe to the channel. We do these episodes live, or they drop on Thursdays, just depending on schedules. We
like to do them live if possible.
We like to do them live. If you want to join the 40.9 thousand followers over at BC DeLorean, there's lots of movie car, and I built a fake video store in my garage.
Are you running into trouble with that? Do a lot of your comments be like, when is this opening? Where can we come visit?
Yeah,
do they think it's real?
That's why in the video today, I specifically said, like, full disclosure, it's not a real Blockbuster. It's just a display in the hallway, because lots of the comments are like, I can't find your address. Where is this? Can I come visit? And so
amazing.
Yeah,
your disclaimer made me ask the question. I think it's so authentically done that people just think it's real.
But
because it's so well done.
Is that when
and I know it's just a hallway.
It's just a hallway. But yes, I do appreciate people thinking that it's real. And there was a manager from a Blockbuster that made a comment about how authentic it really was, the desk and the shelves and the door. And I was like, well, yeah, this is all stuff that we made or found. So,
but the doorbell sound is the same. And then somebody else was like, I can smell this video.
Lots of people are talking about that.
Yeah,
they know that Blockbuster smell, whatever that carpet glue and fresh videotape, whatever those smells are.
Brandon, Brandon, we need to get some 35 millimeter film stock and film a movie in a Blockbuster.
In
That's
my
it.
Blockbuster hallway.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
And you
it.
guys should call it a blockbuster year. It can be a time
Yeah.
travel movie.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
All coming together. Okay. We got an idea. Yeah, so that's all BC DeLorean.
Just me typing. furiously.
Our film next week is going to be a movie I have never seen. Better Off Dead with
Me too.
John Cusack. Our guest next week is going to be Troy Benjamin.
Awesome.
Who we both know through the Ghostbusters community. I'm really excited to have him on the show. He is actually... I have it. Hold on.
In all
He
fairness,
is-
I don't actually know him that well. I just know that he's followed. We've been aware of each other for probably 25 years.
He is the co-author of the Real Ghostbusters in
Awesome.
visual history, along with our other past and future guest, Craig Goldberg from YHS Podcast and Toy Anxiety, who was on our Teen Wolf episode way back in the day. So
Wow.
Craig
Right.
and Troy wrote this Ghostbusters visual history book. Troy has also written some other books for Dark Horse, and I'm excited to have him next week on the
Wow.
show covering Better
That's
Off
awesome.
Dead.
I have never seen that either. That's how I Want My $2, right?
I don't know. Never seen it. All I know is John
Oh.
Cusack's in it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm looking
only-
forward to it. I think I already own it too.
I don't actually own a copy. I'm going to have to either track one down or rent one. Streaming! Well, thank you everybody for watching us. A new record. We are just coming under 4 hours, which is insane. The show is too long. I'm aware of that, but we have so much fun.
He
doing
just
it.
doesn't care. That's the problem.
You know what?
He just doesn't care.
Not to add to the length, but I think part of it is because it's only 1985. When we do a Coen Brothers movie, we're like, we gotta talk about 21 movies because we're never gonna get another chance.
It's
So that's
true.
probably
Yeah, kinda. We got to squeeze it all in.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we're all
Thank
just
you.
film geeks, and that's the problem.
It's just so much fun to talk about movies in a way like this. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you again, Dylan. I cannot wait to see you. Come out and visit me. I'd like to see you and Dana and your kids. You can come and
Dylan?
rent some movies.
I'm
I don't know if
excited
it's
to rent
feasible,
movies.
but if you're ever in LA, please come and visit us. I'd love to
I'd
meet
love
you
to be
in
there
person,
one day.
have you on the
It'd be
show.
Great to meet you, Jay.
Okay.
It'd be great. Thank you for hosting me. You too. It was wonderful.
Ah,
All right.
I love you, Brandon. I love you,
Love you
Dylan.
too, Jay.
I love you at home. Please love one another.
Good night, everybody. Oh, I got to do it this way again. Sorry.
Oh, I love it.
Everything is
He's just
everything
holding
is
out.
messed
Wait,
up
Brandon.
now.
Wait, Brandon. Wait, Brandon. 4 hours. There you go.
Oh, 4 hours. We did
we
it. 4
clicked
hours.
over.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Wow.
Congratulations, Dylan, our new record holder. A 4-hour episode of
Love it.
the world's longest show about a movie that is
We're
an
gonna-
hour and 35 minutes long. Thank
We're
you,
going to
everybody,
bankrupt
for being here.
StreamYard. We're going to use up
Yes.
all their bandwidth.
Everything is taken by us. Good night, everybody. We will see you next week with Troy Benjamin and Better Off Dead. Good night. We love you.